I think we're live. Yes, we're live. I had it covered up. Couldn't see. What's going on, everybody? It's Friday night.
It is.
Tonight, I've got the new Ryft on the table. This came out last week, but we already had a build plan for last Friday. So I moved it to this Friday. Tonight, we're going to take and tear down the Ryft, kind of go through all the parts. And while we're at it, I'm just going to change all the bearings. Nicole made me a bearing kit.
I did.
So we're going to go through and swap those all out. Doing a bearing swap, kind of like I said before, easiest way to get into all the parts of the truck. Now, I haven't cleaned this up since I ran it, so it's dirty, but I'll get my bench dirty and I'll clean it up later. So
Yeah, sure you will.
in here, I will clean it up.
Sure.
But hello, everybody. Thank you for checking
Hello.
in.
Yeah. Who's the girl?
Who's the girl?
What girl?
The girl is my wife. So
Well, Nicole, make me a bearing kit when I get mine. If you order from Fast City Bearings, then
Yes.
there's a 1 in 2 chance
right.
that I will. And I got quite a few messages this last week.
Yeah, you showed me some of them.
Yeah. Some Texas rock racing and now I apologize. I forgot the other ones. I took pictures of them.
Yeah.
I sent them to Josh and they were very nice. Thank you.
I don't know what I did with my big walnut wrench already. So I think I put it in my toolkit. Well, read comments for half a minute.
Okay. All right. Anybody seen my baseball? I am here. I'm here. Barely, but I am.
I did. Quick.
The girl's name is Josh. Oh, Travis is here and he says he needs his distraction.
Oh, you know what? A lot of people do. So
Hi guys from Missouri. Hello. Chargers. Not even in the I don't.
Playoffs? You're right. You had it right. And Suki's here as well.
I'm almost out of the frame. That's the point. I am drinking coffee.
Yes, we're
our Norwegian friend Tor's here, and I wonder if it's Tor.
He should correct us if we're
Yeah,
saying it right.
please correct us if we're not, because like my sister-in-law's sister is
Live,
but you say Live, and from Norway, so
yeah. Is it Torre?
Is it Tor? Are we saying it correctly? Thank you.
Yes. The wheel nuts on this are a 5 millimeter thread, so it's an 8 millimeter wheel wrench. You have to make sure you have that.
Good morning from the UK. All right. Stabby Josh.
Pulling the TSLs off. The tires on this thing are actually pretty decent. They're not super soft, but I think they're appropriate for
Australia.
Appropriate for the dirt.
Our friend Henry's here.
Our wine glass
Our wine glass guy. Yeah, sorry, we're on a whole 30, so we're not drinking.
We're back to our freakish diet that we did last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
See if I can.
So
I kept most of it off from last year.
Yeah.
Those tires are so big that it helps to get them off because then it's more manageable. Now the one thing is you see there's a trailing arm back there that is the incorrect shape, and we are going to replace that. I did get a replacement from Randall at Axial, so we're gonna put those on tonight while we're doing it. Randall.
Have you mean 29 Palms, California? I don't know who that is, but it sounds nice.
Johnson Valley. It's the desert.
Nice.
Which you actually do like the desert.
I do. I very much do.
So let's see how.
Snarled Sumo's back. You should try the vodka Cheez-It diet.
Vodka cheese.
That's what we are on. That's what we're on 11 months out of the year, and then
yeah.
Sniper 4370 ordered his VS410 Pro last night.
Hey, nice.
Will this kit have tires?
Will this kit?
Will the bomber arms fit on a Ryft?
No, they are 10 millimeters shorter, and the actual diameter of the pivot balls is a different size. So they are not the same. Otherwise, I would definitely have put those on.
Portugal, Marine base.
I had I ran the battery that they had sent me, which is a 3S 5000 hard case. It's 100C, so it's a big pack. The front of this truck has a ton of room for battery size, so almost anything will fit.
Jesse said the vodka diet lose a few days. San Diego.
Means of Wales.
My favorite. Is that a Yeti-fied bomber? How do you find your Thingiverse?
You can go to my website, harleydesigns.com, and then there's a link on there that has like tools and 3D printing files.
Vanquish better make parts for this turd.
Someone said it's a Yeti-fied bomber. Like, I mean, not really. The layout is already like a bomber. You know, it's already trailing arms, solid axle front and rear.
How much longer are the Ryft trailing arms in the bomber?
10 millimeters.
Dave Bose gave us $5.
Hello,
Thank
Sookie.
you. Call of Duty Cold War is driving me crazy. Thanks for giving me something else.
Cover your lady parts.
Are the trailing arms the same as solid diff axle?
I don't know what you mean by that. The trailing arms are different. They're all new. They have never been used or offered before.
Kansas checking it. All right.
I just know that she's gonna. Oh, we have like little bugs in here. Oh, I have it open. They must be coming through. Remember when we had that in the summer?
Oh, they're teeny tiny. It's because it's 70 degrees today.
I know. Ugh. And now Sookie's gonna be chasing them on my lights.
Yep.
So, all right, let's. I'm gonna pull the
Is
drive.
this available? This truck, is this available?
No,
for
it ships
purchase?
it ships in a couple weeks.
Okay, so people, you're the first one to have this.
This is a media release.
Oh. The Netherlands.
So we also added a new camera today. Ooh.
Did we?
Overhead. Now you can see Sookie, but from above. So the
It is like Live Torre.
oh, is it okay?
Okay. Tori? Live? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like you said, leave it. Yeah. So
Okay.
Torre.
20 degrees and snowing in Iowa.
Yeah, I heard Kansas City was going to get a winter storm this weekend.
Yeah. Are you going to break down the links? I love links. LOL.
You know what? I don't think I'll take the rod ends off the links. I think I'll leave it just short.
Are you going to paint the driver and co-pilot? Yay or nay?
Nay. Now the driver and co-pilot in this one are different than like the Bomber or Yeti where they were like shiny. They're matte finished in this, which is nice.
People like the new camera angle. Del Dare says he feels like he's hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. Do you get like a woozy feeling, you think?
It is hanging from the... Actually, it is hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. So.
I am both happy and sad. You'll get these first. Sad because people see you with them, then ask me, why don't we have them in stock yet?
Yeah. Just sell it to them and tell them you'll get it to them right away.
What should I get, the new Axial Ryft or the Axial Bomber?
Oh, someone asked me that. Man, I think like if I didn't have either one, and right today you were gonna ask me, I would go with the Ryft because it's new and it's super fun.
I'm about 4 inches in Jeff City.
But it is going to be one of those things where you're gonna have to wait a little bit before a lot of aftermarket parts start rolling out. So, you know, I as much as I love the Bomber, just right now, oh, it froze on me. I don't know why I did that. But as much as I love the Bomber, I would still kind of go with the new thing.
Just fast out, you have bearings for a 10.3. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do. We're going to see a bath in shock oil.
I have no plans to pull all the shocks oil apart. They do have bleeder screws, so I could just open that up and squirt it at the top. I've done that before.
Will there be some incision drive shafts soon, or are they already out?
These have a much larger drive shaft, so there's not one out now. So it's a possibility in the future, but right now, this is not one that the incision drive shafts will bolt onto. They're also pretty long.
Does a 1.9 wheel fit on the Ryft?
We can check that. This is a long, big car. Like, I don't know. We'll check it though. It doesn't bother me.
Yes, Sookie is named after. Yes, she is. I have a Ryft on pre-order with upgrade plans after a few rips. Is the Vanquish Rock Lube Grease plastic safe? Need something for my new Trail King trans.
Yes, it should be plastic safe.
I know Super Shafty's making drive shafts for it. Dan, the Harley man, says, are you bummed you didn't get the orange one?
I mean, yes, but also no. I think that I kind of like the look of the black cage better than I think that the orange plastic, like it doesn't quite look like an orange roll cage. Where the black, since it's a plastic cage, it fools it a little bit better. Let's see if that is unfrozen. Yes, it is.
Do you know just she's not named after the Furious? That's
She
Suki.
is.
That's Suki.
I say that she's named after Fast and the Furious.
Because you don't want to admit that you like True Blood.
Vampire porn.
How long are the back shocks?
Rear shocks are 5.5 inches long. Front shocks are 5 inches long.
I like how you corrected me and said rear.
Did I? What'd you say?
The back. Do you think the rear drive shaft is the same length as the Yeti?
I don't know, but a Yeti drive shaft will not fit because of their 6mm outputs, not 5.
Is the torque twist bad?
Since it's got open diffs, it's not terrible. I think if you lock it, it will get pretty exaggerated.
When are the VP trailing arms coming for it?
We're looking at the whole car. So
Okay. Would the Ryft benefit from a censored system?
I think it would benefit, but at the same time, the stock one's a really good system. So censored systems, they have nice, better startup. There's a lot of benefits of that, but with the driving style of this car, how it's hammered down style, like the stock system does really well for that.
I have one question. Is the Hobbywing Max 10 and 3200 kV good for Traxxas / 4x4, or should I go with something different?
I don't know those. I don't do slash stuff really, so I don't know. So we pulled 4 screws out per side of the skid plate, just like the Bomber. They're almost in the exact same pattern even. And then since we've already disconnected the shocks, now let's see. Oh, there's 2 more screws up front we have to pull.
Is the TRX4 a good rig for competition?
I wouldn't say for competition really. Why does it freeze? I'm gonna have to deal with that.
Think blocking the center and rear diffs will improve or diminish control?
It depends in the situation. It will do both in different in different situations it will do either one. So it's just going to be how you prefer.
I know that it's a rock bouncer, but would it be a good buggy to trail with as well?
I don't know about that. I don't know that I would call this a very good trail buggy. I'm using my chip brush, my paint brush, to clean off the inside. I've got sand and dirt on the inside of this everywhere, so I'm just trying to brush it off into the trash can.
Libby is here.
Our sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law, it's coffee. We're doing a whole 30. Hi.
So.
Quack RC gave us $5. Thank you, sir. I'm stoked to see this get ripped down. Hope all is well for you both. Stay safe, stay healthy. You as well.
Yes, thank you.
Does Sookie like the screaming goat?
I don't know that she's a big fan.
She is way too into the bug on the light.
Yeah, there's a little like gnat type thing on my softbox lighting in front of me, and she's just fascinated with it.
All right.
All right, we'll go over the cage stuff later, but like I said, once you pull the shocks, you pull 4 screws per side to pull the skid plate and these 2 up front, and then the whole thing just drops down like this. So able to drop the whole drivetrain out of this thing pretty quickly. It's nice that the ESC and everything's attached to the, we're just gonna set the chassis on the RCPC.
Cody Vandenberg, so that fuzzy truck has a nice paint job. Talking about her.
Yeah.
I think if you need a censored system in the Ryft, you aren't driving it right.
Yeah, it's for full throttle. What in? She is just.
You think a TRX4 would do good in nationals?
No, I don't. TRX4s are super durable trucks, but they've got a pretty high center of gravity. I mean, if you rip everything out and replace almost everything, then sure, but it is not the truck you're going to see commonly on a podium for competition style crawling.
There is a plastic safe grease. I just use marine grease.
There's some greases that are not plastic safe as well. Marine grease usually does just fine.
What size is she? She's actually not a purebred. She is a Cheeto. Half Bengal, half Osicat. So we had a F3 Bengal. We have another one somewhere. She was just in here, but yeah. Seems similar to the way the Capra cage comes off.
Yeah, it is kind of, but I would say that it's a little easier than the Capra.
Stabby Josh gave us $5. Thank you, sir. Yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada, yada. I'm really tired.
Yes, has to be in the middle of the action.
All right.
She was in the group, the Bengals. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Drivetrain back on the desk.
Can you say hello to Grace in South Mississippi, the 8-year-old?
Hello.
Ready for his comp tomorrow? First crawler comp tomorrow.
First, well, good luck, Gracie.
Fast Eddie Barron's order for my dual rider, right? I could probably pack those today. The special effects on this monster movie are terrible. You can totally tell the giant cat is fake. How much grass are you going to add for that?
Yes, top of my list, things to do.
Is 3S a good amount of power?
Honestly, yeah, I never even ran it on 4S. 3S, this thing was just hauling. So,
are you going to do 3D Sunday this week?
yes.
Geez, 1 week we cancel.
I know.
We were actually having fun on Sunday, and we're at a friend's house, and I was like, I don't want to go. Why do we have to go?
So
and
I canceled.
He canceled.
Nicole, she never requests.
I don't, but
she requested 1 weekend. I said, fine.
We had a.
It was my coworker and friend's birthday, so.
Well, they
same
have
person.
Twins. How old are they? 7 months?
Yeah.
7-month-old twins. So we were playing with the babies.
So one thing I will note that after that first run, all of the pivot balls on the front links all of the rod ends are knocked off of the pivot balls, except one, which is interesting. Well, at least all the lowers. So yeah, that's they definitely didn't like to stay on the rod ends.
I believe he said that marine grease is plastic safe.
Most of it is, yes. Should be.
The Chiefs are absolutely going to beat the Browns.
Yeah, I don't think that's far fetched at all.
No. It's Mahomes. Got my local hobby shop to throw 4 on order. Gonna snag an orange one for sure.
All right.
Won't be long. You want? No, we won't.
So I'm pulling the front axle just completely off so we can do this disassembly. But the one thing is that also means I have to disconnect the servo, which I haven't done yet. So Yeah. Old radio box too.
Are you gonna add some machine end rods?
I mean, these are a different size, so I don't have any to do that with yet. I mean, it's a possibility down the road, but
Emon's Racing gave us $5. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for
sir.
providing this fantastic channel, spreading your knowledge to the RC community better than spreading it to me. Looking forward to getting back to back Bat/Vanquish Fest.
Ah.
Is the Wraith on the comeback?
I don't think so. I think the Wraith is probably on its way out.
Thank you, Grimjar. How are the drive shafts?
Drive shafts are nice. They're super beefy. They're universal style. I'll do a close up of those now that I can pull this front axle apart or off and show you that. Man, this is going to be dirty today. All right. I'm going to reorganize slightly.
Do you think more highly of the Ryft or the laser nut?
I think that the Ryft is definitely more my style. I think that the laser nut looked super cool and I actually really liked it, but
Son of a bitch.
I don't know what cat just knocked what over, but something loud crashed down out there. So, well, anyway, like I was saying, I think that the laser nut is definitely more the Ryft is more my style just because I prefer solid axles in almost everything. So I'm not much of like a basher or racer, and I think that the all independent style of the laser nut lends itself more to that. So, all right, we're getting the dirt off closer and closer. So I had a pivot ball fall out, and I see where that went now, except I don't see what I did. Set it over here. I'm just going to put a couple of these where they were, screws where they were, so I don't lose them or put them in the wrong position later. Really?
It was sappy.
That's weird.
Have you ran any more RC cars in the cow wheel?
No, just the one time. And I made sure to do it while Nicole was taking a nap. I didn't think it would be nearly as loud as it was.
Always have that opinion on things.
Yeah. So here is a close-up of the front axle, at least.
Vanquish ALU axles?
Aluminum. Like I said, we're looking at the whole car, so we'll kind of take a look and have an opinion on it. It is a metal diff cover stock. It does look like I put a good sized dent in. Oh, I actually let's see if you can see it. It's hard to tell. Let me see if I can put a straight edge on it, but it looks like I put a good bend right in the middle of that
Yeah, you don't
tie
need the
rod.
rubber to see that.
Don't you? Okay. So yeah, I put a good size little dent or bend there, and it looks like when I did it, I also put a good dent into the into that diff cover. Huh. Kind of cool. I mean, damage is cool.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sounds just like expensive to me.
Well, I mean,
feels like.
So we're gonna pull off all of that steering linkage. We'll pull up the internals. I'll show you that. The drive shafts themselves. Let me get a close look at Sookie. So here's the drive shafts. They're, like I said, universal style rather than the wild bore, CV joint style. And what I should do is get you a close-up comparison between the two. Now, do I have one handy? I do. Read comments for a second.
Okay. I can't answer any questions, so we can look at.
You didn't read a comment.
And I saw a guy cut a cardboard piece into a square 8x8, drew squares with a pen, and punctured little holes with his pen to put the screws in each section to keep track so he knew where they came from.
Oh, I've seen that too, but that's a lot of work.
To punch holes in cardboard?
Well, yeah, and then but then you got to like write what each one is. You just put it back in the hole.
Maybe some Revo shaft for this one.
Revos might work because they might. I think they're 6mm.
Sucky. Sucky. No, ma'am.
All right. So I have. She's very up close to my close-up camera.
Put her down.
That's always very effective.
I picked up one of those DeWalt drivers the other day. Absolutely love it. Good call.
So
they need to sponsor you. You sell the shit out of those.
this is an Incision universal, which is super beefy, for a 1.9, and gets the job done really, really well. They don't, we've never really had any breakage or anything like that. Trying to get both of them oriented is tough. But sorry, the thing is like this bore, the inside bore of, it's difficult to do. The inside bore of this is 5mm. The inside bore on this one, on the output of the pinion shaft, is 6mm. So that's why you can't just use one of these. It is not the same. Anyway, okay, we'll pull the steering linkage off, and then we'll start pulling axle shafts and diff covers and gear sets out.
Maybe if they were modified on the Revo Southern Exile.
It's a possibility.
After building my daughter's new builder's kit by hand, I broke down and bought a powered screwdriver. How long is the rear drive shaft?
Oh.
There's like a little bug in his light, like a teeny tiny little one that got in the window, and
like one that can get through the screen.
And that's what she's so into.
Fascinated by.
Yes. I want to see the inside of the transmission.
Yep. We're going to open that up as well. I'll open up everything. Like I said, we're going to replace all the bearings, so that the inside of the transmission I have not opened up yet. I opened up the spur gear cover, but I didn't open up the actual trans itself. So I'm interested to see in there also.
Who are you picking for KOH?
Ooh, I haven't really seen what the track is this year. They're
happy.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
What's your opinion on the stock steering servo?
So the stock steering servo, not an impressive servo, but it gets the job done. I mean, this thing's got a big servo saver. So if you throw a big nasty servo on it, it's going to be pretty mushy anyway with that servo saver. So you're going to have to go to something solid. There we go.
Nicole's husband, do you think U4RC is done? Will there be another organization that takes on this type of rig for racing?
This type of rig isn't really for U4. It's more for rock bouncing, which is like hill climbing and things like that. Man, this screw just does not want to come out.
If someone wanted to purchase 1.9 methods, 105s in a color other than Thede orange, how long would he have to wait?
I mean, they just kind of go up constantly. I think orange was the last color we did, but we cycle through, and they go up on the site probably every week. And it just depends on how fast which color sells out. All right.
Galen Garrett gave us $5. Thank you. Would Traxxas rod ends be the way to go until aftermarket gets caught up?
I don't know what Traxxas rod end will work because this is way bigger than a Revo rod end. I have some spare rod ends here for this, and I'll show you the size difference between a Revo and it. But it will be a specific rod end to make it work. The pivot ball, like the actual ball portion of this, that the rod end snaps over is significantly larger than your typical rod end. You can see a close-up of the knuckles here, that double shear arm for everything. Everything's nice and captured. We're going to pull out the kingpins and everything and get these all pulled apart.
Wait, does Josh actually have his own color orange? No, that was a friend who asked.
FF6600 is the HTML, the web code for the one I use.
You're such a nerd. Do you know my phone number?
Yes, because I use it at CVS.
Oh. I'm like, but you know all that. I've never.
Do you know my phone number?
Yeah.
Don't say it, but
I do. Of course I do. I know. I still know, but my grandma's phone number and my aunts and uncles, all of them.
do they still have house phones?
No, but most of them have.
Cell phones with their old number on it?
Yeah. You got to know somebody's number in case you like go to jail or lose your phone or something.
Yeah.
Like you have to memorize.
I remember one person who I know is local and has money.
Yeah. But they could call somebody.
They could.
Should have ordered Fast Eddie bearing direct instead of East Coast supplier over 2 weeks and still no bearings. Oh,
Oof.
great. That sucks. Bob, my brother, you can't put our house phone number on there. No one has it anymore. Thank you, Ben. That was my brother. He was putting my parents' house number that is not a thing anymore. So, my little brother.
So,
Are they having Axial Fest 2021? If so, how will the Ryft fit into that?
they are having it in the Midwest for sure because the date got leaked already by Badlands Off Road.
Badlands was bad.
So they are going to have it, and I think that California will probably be up in the air just based on the restrictions that California places on it. But, and as far as, I gotta figure out why that one keeps freezing. We will figure it out. I will prevail. But, so the axle shafts in these are pretty substantial.
Oh, BT's here.
She is being extra.
Thank you. He gave us $30.
Hey, BT, thank you.
Thank you. Glad you could join.
Let's see what I have for axle shafts.
There used to be a used car lot in Murfreesboro, Tennessee that had 8675309 for their actual phone number.
I mean,
I got I remember Pizza Hut was always 6488888 6488888 6488888 Pizza Hut delivery. But I think it was before you had to dial 913 or 816 in Kansas City for Missouri or Kansas side, so you could just dial it and it would just
what isn't it Brown and Crouppen who's just 888-888888?
Maybe.
There we go. There we got axle shafts.
But where in the Midwest is Axial Fest?
It's not. It's Indiana. Is where Badlands Off-Road Park is. So this on the right here is the size of an axle shaft that you would typically see in like an SCX 10-2. That's what this shaft is here. And this one is, Sucky, thank you very much. This one here is the Ryft now. So you can see that the size difference is very sizable between the two. You can see the size of the stub axle, how much larger it is on the Ryft. That's a 6mm bore versus a 5mm at the largest point, and then it steps down to a 4, where this one goes from a 6 to a 5, which is a huge increase in strength, even just being 1mm. But anyway.
FYI. Jesse, I think you're behind. Most jail intakes will let you let you call your phone. Or whatever. How heavy is the Ryft?
We'll have to find out once it's back together.
Yeah, right? Is there a Mr. Wonderful at Vanquish?
Is that like, do you mean like a benefactor or?
Yes, there is. Chris Goins gave us $22.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Good number. I
Yeah.
like that number. No question. Just thanks
Yeah.
very much. I mentioned in the review that I do have a few concerns about the actual, like having brake rotors and calipers, specifically having both. When you have both, sometimes the rotor, like rocks will get caught in between them and kind of block things up a little bit. So it does look like this one was rubbing. You can see the kind of witness marks on the back side of the rotor, but it didn't stop me at any point. And especially being open diff, it could have just locked one up and spooled the other one. So again, though, you can tell that it was rubbing a little bit, and there's quite a bit of rubbing on the inside of the plastic part.
Hey guys, Josh, have you talked about the different use cases for the Bomber and Ryft yet?
Not really. I think it's a good question. It's a tricky one too, just because, you can probably make either of them do close to the same things. But a bomber, I think, if I was going to go for a 5K, compete in a 5K, which, like, hypothetically, because obviously not me, because anybody who's seen me run would understand. But I would pick a bomber. Just the style, the wheelbase, the tires, the suspension. I think that it's a little bit more suited or planted for a 5K style. This one is meant to just longer wheelbase, bigger suspension, travel, open diffs. I think would actually really help it be controlled on some of these kind of high horsepower things. This is the highest horsepower 2.2 Axial's ever put out, other than the Yeti XL, or sorry, the Yeti RTR had a brushless, but not like this.
Kind 325 wants to know, does your camera freezing have to do with cameras cache? Are you commanding too much data acquisition?
Don't know why I think it's actually from the capture card that I'm using, not the camera itself. So I got to figure that out. I've got it into a USB 3.0, I think, but
No one cares.
thanks.
Does the caliper have to be mounted or can it be left off?
You could easily leave it off and then nothing would change. So it's something that I would likely do is just leave these off and still run the rotors, because I think the rotors look good. That adds a cool little factor.
Can you tell me what the King of Logandale is? Because somebody doesn't have Google.
King of Logandale is basically just it's like a 5K style. It's a timed through gates running deal. That's basically all it is.
You ran the Ryft on 3S. Would you say it's like the Bomber on 3S with a 3500 kV?
Oh.
Basically, it looks like I have Marge Simpson here with the Harley logo.
Oh. That's probably a pretty good parallel to draw. I think this one's only a 2200 kV, but yeah, it's probably similar to a Bomber on a 3500.
Does a servo mount and offset pumpkins make it possible for four-wheel steer?
No, because the pumpkin would be on the wrong side, and I think you would end up with drive shaft interference with the transmission. And I also don't think that four-wheel steer is a great idea. I know it's common in the full-size world, but if you're going to try and control this car with that much power, it's going to be very difficult. So
swap the front shocks to the rear and find some 4.5-inch shocks for the front to get that thing lower for better handling.
I would agree. I think a little bit shorter shock would be something that I would like to do.
Would it be an
long inner shafts for sure?
Option to lock the diffs?
Absolutely. There's an optional diff lock listed in the manual already. So Axial will have one for sure, and then I'm sure you'll see aftermarket options as well. But the one that Axial is releasing will work in the front axle, rear axle, or center diff in the transmission.
Thanks for the info. There was nothing on Google about it.
I am going to...
How did you get your name?
I used to ride a Harley, and I was signing up for a message board on the internet when I was younger. And it was Harley and then some letters or some numbers.
I got my name because this is my sister-in-law Olivia's favorite story. She remembered this one time
What?
because we were talking about baby names, and I don't remember how it came up, but apparently my parents, this is how I got my name. It's really,
Your actual name?
yeah, it's really special. Went to a restaurant while my mom was pregnant, and the waitress's name was Nicole. So she liked it and had really high hopes for me.
Huh. You know, whatever it takes.
But Olivia was like, she said that, oh, we were talking about something one time, and she was like, didn't your parents go to, like, I was, yeah, they did.
Wow. I think I was supposed to be named one thing, and then my dad went to go write it on like the birth certificate. I think he just changed it to the other option, which is something that sounds very much like my dad would do.
Yeah.
10 by 15 by 4 inner bearings on the knuckle, 6 by 12 by 4 outer bearings.
Those
That's
aren't
not
ours.
no. Well, no, these are the stock ones I just pulled out.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, metal shielded inner bearings, not rubber.
My parents joked that they would have named me or my sister Alex Callie, Melancholy. What kind of breed? We have a Cheeto cat. We have a Bengal and a Cheeto.
And a barn cat.
And a barn cat.
So we're gonna pull out all the bearings out of the knuckles.
My son Gunner's a hitman. My daughter is Nova the stripper.
I have one friend who his daughter is the smartest little girl in the world. She's
Mensa smart, like no joke, like
she's brilliant.
Since she was since she was 6 months old, she like crazy. But her name is Jetta.
Jetta Diamond.
Jetta Diamond.
That's her first and middle name.
Yeah.
Last name we'll keep. But yeah, Jetta Diamond. I was just like, you are setting her up. If she wasn't so smart, you'd
and
worry.
Beautiful, yeah. Smart and beautiful. Chance to sell some Vanquish products here. What would you consider essential upgrades for an SMT10 when converting to a brushless setup?
Ooh, a lot. Trailing arms, right away. Links, upper links, or the upper links are the Yeti rear upper links. That's what you use all the way around on the SMT10. Transmission upgrades are, you could go right away. And then axle upgrades, you need almost anything you're ready to buy.
RC Patina guys, thank you for the $5.
Thank you, sir.
What's up with the RC PC rig? I haven't heard much, or maybe I just missed some lives.
We did have we put out the last video for the RCPC last Wednesday, I believe. It is enormous and right next to me. You can see it right there.
Trustees RC crawling. My first daughter got her name because my wife heard someone yelling at their kid when she was at a flea market in Alabama. I like your style.
I want to meet her. I want to meet your wife.
Yeah, I like your.
You know what? That's the best.
What is this Virgin River? BT says, thank God for this live stream. I cannot watch another episode of Virgin River with my wife.
I don't know what that show is.
Oh.
I'm going to pull off one of these C-hubs. We don't need to pull them off to replace the bearings, but I want to see what the inside and backside of that looks like. So we're going to do that. She is being a Hellcat tonight.
And not the good kind.
Yeah. So the C-hubs on this vehicle.
You're not focused.
I'm getting there. They bolt all the way through the axle. So I took those two screws out now. Oof. Hold, please. She's climbing the blinds almost.
He set this camera up after he got home from work and before he did this tonight, so.
Yeah, so the overhead cam is not like, it freezes up a little bit, and I haven't.
So he does not have 707 horsepower. Well, maybe.
Get your little paws out. So it's not a splined style, which I would have thought. Can you move that keyboard so I can reach it a little easier? So it's just got a kind of a keyway style on the top and bottom with, the bearing on the end, of course. But yeah, keyway style is all inside of the C-hub. Of course, you've got the corresponding keyways and then the bolt through. They are specific right and left. You can see the little text there. You possibly could. So
Paul Matlock gave us $5. Thank you. Are you going to make a metal cage for that Ryft? It's been a while since you've made a cage.
I don't think that I will make one for this. I do love metal cages, but I honestly think that this plastic cage for this truck is great. And for what it's doing, the lighter weight portion of it, I think it'll help quite a bit. And being that I would like to keep this truck kind of performing like it does, I think that this is perfect. I think that the plastic bouncer is going to really open up and help that market. So there you
go. What would be your dream location for crawling bee except North America? Greetings from Norway, probably. Well,
except North America?
Definitely Norway.
We plan to go to Norway for family.
Our sister-in-laws from
but I don't know. I really want to go. I really want to go crawl in like the East, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, all through there. Vietnam.
Do we have to
Taiwan?
What? Okay.
Just all of that.
Just everywhere.
The East is so cool as well.
Yes.
Okay, so the rear.
Why are you changing out the bearings?
It doesn't necessarily need it, but like doing a bearing swap is just a good way to get to everything. You end up opening every part and seeing every part of the car that moves. So it's just like a fun exercise, and Nicole works for Fast Steady Bearings.
Right.
So there you go.
What was your first RC crawler?
Tamiya TXT1. So these 4 screws back here around the back side of the center pumpkin, you take all those out, and then the diff cover will pull out. And it is well greased.
Come to Omaha. Josh has crawled Omaha.
Omaha's my hometown. So there's the center. Or the
Ooh, yeah, Hawaii.
Hawaii, yes. Absolutely.
You know what? All of our people from Hawaii, like vendors are the nicest.
Oh yeah.
And I know you got a big box of shit and ate all the chocolate covered macadamia nuts out of it, because Eddie and Vivian did too.
We didn't this year. So
you did. I know you did.
The guys from Ohana RC have always been awesome.
They're all
Eric
nice.
Yoshimura, I think, is the owner.
All of the Hawaii people are nice.
Yeah.
I mean, they live in Hawaii. Like, are you still planning on making the how to make bumpers with almost no tools video?
Yes, I've got a list, and I'm going to just get all of the. Like, I'm going to do it with only basic tools. So it's not going to be no tools. You're going to need tools, but I'm not going to use an expensive TIG welder or a super expensive torch. Like, I'm just going to use like Home Depot stuff.
Can you speak any Norwegian? No.
Nope. My brother can.
Yes, and we listen to it and love it, and we need to learn more about. But everybody speaks English, so we get spoiled whenever we're with our Norwegian family, because everybody speaks English, so we don't have to. Do you still want to get a Prusa printer?
Yes.
So which one? No.
Yes. The Prusa, is it the Mark III?
God.
Yes, but absolutely.
A real man bends rods with his hands.
With his teeth. Use your teeth.
That center diff is bigger than one from a Yaris.
Now, that is another thing I should do, is I wonder if I've got the stock parts from the Bomber that I replaced. Because that would be a good comparison also.
What's that mean?
What?
ROFGL?
I mean, usually, I think that rolling on the floor laughing usually, but I don't know what ROFGL means. Rolling on the effing ground laughing?
Maybe you're rolling on the floor giggling and laughing. Are you giggling?
You keep talking.
Giggling. Hello from Canada. Go Brown. What? You guys don't even play football. Oh, there's 2 bugs now. Oh, thank you. Effing laughing.
Yeah, told you.
Pulling on the... No. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. I found all of the parts from the bomber.
I thought it's not a bomber.
Well, I'm from the old bomber, so I can compare parts. They're still in the project because I'm so organized.
Why haven't you...
Why
Did
haven't
you say we don't have football fans in Canada? Ugh. You just can't get into it.
into what?
The Chiefs. Never
What, you're
leave
just
dead
worried?
air.
You're just worried that the Chiefs are going to fail you?
I just don't want to talk about it. They're not going to fail me. But as a lifelong Chiefs fan, that the playoffs are a time of anxiety. So,
So,
the thumbnail's messed up.
well, that's weird. This is a Ryft. This is an AR-60. So the gear size themselves is very similar. The actual tooth contact area of the Ryft might be smaller just because the center portion of it is actually bigger. We could probably do more of a scientific comparison with a pair of calipers.
Whenever pets that poor cat.
She gets more attention than she could ever need. So
Look at that comment. Most lovable face. Gringo Bandito.
So the outer diameter of the Ryft gear is 38 millimeters. Outer diameter of the AR-60 gear, also 38 millimeters.
She's gonna start climbing that.
If she starts climbing the wall, I swear to God. The outer diameter of the Diff case on an AR-60 is 24.75. Outer diameter of this one, 25.5. So it's a little 3/4 of a millimeter bigger in diameter. It's not huge, but it takes up a percentage of gear contact. So it's noticeable visually.
Ben winched up to my neighbor's Titan today.
Say, what now?
What did you just eat? No. God. A piece of plastic.
3D printer plastic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the bearings that go on the side of the Diff case for the AR-14B are 12 by 18 by 4s, where on the AR-60, they're 10 by 15 by 4s.
She's just a holy terror.
Yeah, she's obsessed with the gnats.
Oh, yeah.
So, and now this, that's just really going to be a thing tonight. This is the difference in the pinion. So 6 millimeter output shaft, 5 millimeter output shaft, which is a
You should do a tour of your studio.
pretty big difference.
Here you go. This is the tour.
Oh, you sit. No, I'll do an update video after I get some things sorted and cleaned.
I mean, literally, like, I'm almost touching the door right now. So
This is not a big room.
No.
This room is 10 by 13. Everything is packed into 10 by 13. Well, I say everything is packed in. There's some overflow. There's some things that have slightly...
in half of a garage.
Half of a garage and then slightly out the door. But, so yeah, the pinion gears on these things are pretty drastically different. All machined on the Ryft versus the two-piece style of the bomber with the sintered top portion and machined shaft.
She's a thick one. Yes, she is. Dale's not here.
He's getting big.
Ryft machined gears, question.
Well, if I mean, do I think that they'll be available? Probably, yes. But I'm trying to, I think that they might be machined already. I can't tell if this is a sintered gear. We might have to pull the diff case apart to see if there's the injection point marks where you can tell if it's a sintered gear.
You gotta watch that water.
Yeah.
Cool. How many RCs do you have?
Half of what I have.
Half of these? Personally, none. No RCs for me.
So I have a lot of cups in here.
Half of when I say half of a garage, I mean half of a 2-car garage. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but you know, that's where like my little CNC is and all that.
I
So
got to park my car in it for a few months.
true. All right, we don't need this gear set anymore. We can put that away. I think we've all seen enough of the AR60 gears. Yeah? Yay? Nay.
Yay.
Yay.
For sure. Definitely seen enough of whatever it is you're doing.
The yays have it. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. She is being very, very photogenic tonight.
You must have a Barbie camper or Corvette. No. If you were taking half the RCs, would you need math or a chainsaw?
Meaning, would you just count how many and take them, or would you just cut each of them in half?
Oh no, I would sell them. Like, I wouldn't. Like, are you bored? Always. Do you think these axles will actually be stronger than the AR60s?
The components themselves, I do believe, should be stronger. I have concerns about this pinion bearing. It's a 10 by 15 by 4 inner pinion bearing, the bearing that sees the most stress in these axles generally, and that's a really weak bearing. That was an oversight on them for sure. I don't know. They've learned on the SCX-10 too, but whoever designed this, I don't think was all that in tune with some things. I think he just looked at other projects and just kind of went along with it, but I think that he missed the boat on that pretty good, which that's my main concern.
You can just buy more.
Buy more bearings. So you might have to buy more gear sets if they blow up. Make sure you do your maintenance.
You missed the question earlier. What color should I paint the Ultra when it shows up?
Orange is a good color. My Ultra is actually green, which is hard to tell because the lights are green tonight for Axial. But yeah.
Jeep guy wearing a Toyota shirt. Is this Bizarro World, says Matt?
I bought this shirt because of Matt, to support Matt,
Yeah.
and he makes fun of me.
I like that shirt.
Yeah.
They do a good one.
Yeah. Cruiser gear. There you go. Matt did a little giveaway build for them. He built them a really nice car to give away.
We need to buy everybody cruiser gear. And my family, my maiden name's Cruz.
All right.
Let's see.
So let's see. Is there anything specific that you guys would like to see up close on this axle other than Sookie's face?
Could you bolt a set of these in an OG Wraith?
I guess what I could do is compare the link mounting points to an AR60.
Very Straight says, I got my first VS410 Pro delivered from AMAIN today. What gear should I run in my Wraith 2.2? I have Hobbywing Fusion 1200 kV. I have stock gearing now, but want a little more speed.
Ooh, 1200 kV. Man, that's a slow motor. So, I don't remember what the stock gear is, but just start going up on your pinion until you can't fit them anymore. That's a really slow motor, though.
Ryft is old news. Nobody cares about it anymore.
Says who?
Matt.
Yes. What color is yours, Matt?
Hello and good evening, by the way.
So we've got about 110 millimeters between the lower link mounts on an AR60. And on this one, we've got about 145. So you're looking at a lot wider link mounting points. The uppers really shouldn't matter. They're about the same, but the link separation vertically is probably around 40 millimeters, where an AR60 is, let's see.
Well, Happy New Year, Matt.
Ooh. An AR60 is probably about 25. So a big, there's a lot of geometry difference. I don't know that it'd be kind of like dropping Wraith axles in an SCX10. It's possible, but it's a big change. I think that you're going to see similar things here, and it's also really going to change your anti-squat and anti-dive numbers. So there's a lot there.
Gene Master gave us $2. Thank you. Welcome to the Nat Geo channel.
Thank you, Gene.
Where can I buy shims to remove the gear stop from the center pumpkin on my Unimog 6x6?
I don't know that. You guys don't sell shims, do you?
We have some, yeah.
You can check Fast Eddie.
Depends on the size.
The size, right. You guys mainly have Baja shims, right?
A lot of Baja shims, but we have what, 1 or 5 mm, 2 millimeter,
Oh, okay.
5 millimeter. Techno makes a plethora of shims.
Hey, great information.
There you go.
Who said that?
Guy on a moose.
Guy on a moose, thank you. Much appreciated.
Do you think the axles will hold up locked?
I think that they will hold up better than any other axial axle. I think they're stronger in most situations all around. So, yes.
I'm not sure how I feel about the green backlighting, Matt says. I asked him why it was green. He said because he's doing axial.
It's an axial night. I'm pandering to axial.
I thought that was nice. What color orange? I'm going to get paint tomorrow. Josh gets Tamiya orange.
I do get Tamiya orange. I think it's PS7. I could tell you. PS7.
I like the green.
I do like the green too. The green on mine is the green backlight?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's not bad, right? All right. I'm pulling this front diff apart just because I haven't done it yet and want to see what it looks like inside.
He has 10,000 colors he can make it, so it's good to change it up.
Usually go blue to bring out my eyes.
Yeah.
Right?
You've never thought about that in your life.
True story.
I was like, oh, that makes your eyes look so pretty. He's like, huh?
Okay. So the diff oil in this does seem heavy. Maybe there just wasn't enough because the diffs are not very heavy in general. Like they're pretty light, meaning that they freewheel individually a lot easier than I would probably prefer. So, okay. But I mean, you're not really going to see a lot of what you probably would like to in here.
Can't see anything. Oh, yeah, now you can.
It's just a grease-filled diff. And it almost looks more like grease than diff oil. So, I don't know. If it wasn't on the live stream, I probably would clean this out and then try and add like a 1,000,000 weight or 2,000,000 weight fluid to try and slow the diff action, but still leave them open. But
someone said it was 1,000,000 weight oil. Is that for real? 1,000,000 weight?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's a CST value, which is just like a viscosity rating of some sort.
1,000,000?
I don't know that I believe them. I think that it's what they say. So here is the side output. So it's got the flat style for the axle shafts, and then a large side gear for the diff.
To my PS64 or PS61 metallic orange. Is this the AR60 redesign we've waited 8+ years for, or a little short off the mark?
I mean, I think it's probably a newer, better version of the AR60.
I use 11 bajillion weight oil. I think the weights are more factorized and based in actual computations.
I don't disagree that that's probably
I
the
don't know
case.
what you guys are talking about.
So there's an O-ring seal on the inside here. And then I can't tell. I'm just pulling the
My daughter's hot lapping the room on her hoverboard, insisting I say hi to you, Nicole. Matt Conley. Hello.
Yeah, I can't. It's got an interesting.
Crazy GRC man cave. He said in a couple weeks they ship out.
Yeah, I think that's the case at least. So the I mean the inner surface there of the actual gear is just got an area for the actual O-ring to sit in to seal up against everything, and then
100% silicone earplugs.
yeah, that's a common.
Is that carrier housing composite or metal?
It's a combination situation, so it's both. It's a composite outer case with an outer a metal piece that runs out here that's molded into the actual plastic. So this metal piece would go into the mold, then it's over molded to help hold everything in place. And that's just how that works. So a combination of both.
Traxxas makes shims that fit.
We're going to make sure we put the actual.
Dan Trivet, thank you for liking the video.
Yes. And put the seal back on.
Billet Vanquish version coming soon.
You know, it's like, oh, of the actual case?
I don't know.
It's not a
smiley face.
Not an impossibility, but could also do just a full locker that replaces that entire piece, which might be more along the lines. We're gonna get this all tightened back up. I didn't change the diff fluid at all or make any modifications like that.
Hope all these diffs don't blow out like Yeti XLs did.
Agreed. The Yeti XL was quite a. I mean, I think that was probably Axial's biggest flub. Obviously, it saw its discontinuation faster than maybe any other Axial product. I think faster than the EXO, which maybe would have been second, even though the EXO was a cool car. And then I know I dropped one of those other screws and it kind of bounced around.
When is Axial going to make metal trailing arms?
So I don't think that Axial will make metal trailing arms, but they do have metal link plates that go on the side, and I have those here. So those I believe are going to be available nearly at the release, or at least not long after. So I'm going to put them on this one when I swap out my trailing arms, because I had that one that failed during the video.
Wine tasting rooms are opening back up. Once we know how well it goes, I'll send Mr. Nicole a Facebook message. All right.
Is that Barry?
Nice, yeah. So the Ryft has 3 diffs.
It does. That is correct.
The Ryft does not look out like it's outside the normal for Axial, so must be more coming. Only say that about the billet because this thing really seems to like the open diff. From what I've seen, a bulletproof slightly open diff might be awesome.
I think that that's probably a reasonable thought.
Do you think Spectrum will ever go to a 25 spline servo?
I hope so. 23 spline is such a terrible, outdated spline. So we're going to replace the diff bearings as well. The stock ones were metal shielded. We're going to the rubber shielded fast eddy bearing one. The stock ones didn't blow up, and I'm only replacing them because we're going into the whole car, so we might as well replace everything while we're here. While you're up. Will you grab me something to drink? Nicole hears that from me a lot.
Yeah.
While you're up.
I got my Vanquish SCX Portal axles polished. Hope they come out good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, thanks,
So-
Dan Trivet. Give us $10.
Thank you much, Dan.
The money Axel's getting for their trucks, they will have to do something different than they are now before I drop more money on them.
I think that I was disappointed to see the trailing arm fail on me, so quickly. I think that was kind of a bummer. I think that maybe should have been looked at more during testing. But the car as a whole, it's one of those things like I'm maybe slightly a little bit too used to some things like that with Axial. But I'll say in general, I like the car more than enough that I think that I was okay with it. Here's the that diff cover. You can see me where I punched a dent in it. So you'll see some battle scars there. I have to imagine that it would be possible to break or crack one of these, because this is a cast piece, but it is nice that you get a metal diff cover, so you have metal threads to cinch the diff tight and make sure everything's gonna stay in place.
Torre. So, as a crawler dude, why buy a Ryft instead of a VS410 Pro slash Ultra?
I think that you're different if you're looking for different things.
He's saying don't.
If you're not looking for a dedicated hill climbing truck, then I don't. That's what the Ryft is. It's that blend between basher and scale truck. It is not a trail truck.
Cool, I got some cold brew Death Wish coffee. I don't know. I've never had Death Wish coffee.
What do we drink? Black Rifle coffee?
No, bulletproof.
Bulletproof coffee.
It's the only one that doesn't give me heartburn.
So we have all the bearings in
Have you felt the need to shim? I missed. Where is that? Shim something differential?
No, I haven't. Everything felt tight enough, and I'm fine with it. I actually don't usually shim much on other than SCX-10-2 gear sets. I don't usually shim very often. So all the bearings there. We need to pull the outer axle bearings still, so we'll make sure and do that. I'm going to put the drive shaft back on so we don't lose the outside axle.
Yes, it is different.
Cool.
Astro Clutch. Good night, everyone. I bought Black Rifle coffee just because of Matt's Best videos. Matt Best's video.
I don't believe that I know him.
Are these RC projects you're working on to sell, or are they out of your collection?
These are my collection.
Or to sell?
Or to sell. Depends if you ask Nicole or me.
It's for sale.
So we're going to pull this outer bearing here, which also 6x12.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Put a new one in.
What's he doing? What you doing, you little weirdo?
Now, one thing is that you actually can't replace this bearing without pulling the C-hub off. So we're going to have to pull that off on the other side too.
Matt Best is one of the founders.
Well, then that makes sense.
Don't you have a coffee cup that has that on there?
I do.
Where'd you get that from?
Dolly gave it to me on my birthday.
Central Kansas says hello.
Where at in Central Kansas?
Craig Thomas gave us $5. Thank you. My 8-year-old son David says hi. Thanks for the stream.
Hello, David. Thomas. Dave Thomas.
No, Craig Thomas.
Craig.
Oh yeah.
I know, but his
yeah.
son
Dave Thomas.
Wendy's.
Likes redheads.
I
get the Ryft as a bouncer, but I still don't think it's unique enough to buy. Josh, please recommend some upgrades from the Ultra. My 10.3 is killing it in most cases. I've done 21% OD on the Ultra. Am I just a bad driver or is the 10.3 pretty good?
Now, Ultra will outdo the 10.3 in almost any situation normally. I have 10.3 I've found to be quite an interesting truck to drive.
Everybody likes different things.
Everybody, yeah, depends on what you're driving and all, but yeah, I mean, even without upgrades, I guess that's what I'd have to see what the difference is in the terrain.
He's from Hutch.
Hutch? No, we
Yeah.
know Hutch.
Me too. That's where the Cosmosphere is.
Where's the Wizard of Oz Museum?
Oh,
Where is that?
it's like between Manhattan and it's like after Manhattan.
Is it? Ugh. Bearing is tight in there. So pull that one off and replace that as well. Now we can get this front axle back together and we'll start pulling apart the rear.
When is the Friday Glitter robot build stream?
It should come assembled. I have broke down and fallen into Nicole's.
Did you?
Probably not.
Is that a special tool to remove the bearings?
No, this is a dental pick. You can buy them on Amazon. They come like a set of 6.
We're talking about dental. Somebody was saying dental pick. I'm like, oh.
They're super handy. They come in like a pack of 6 in different shapes. And you get ones with just like all kinds of different, they're just super handy.
Built Axial Capra or VX410 Ultra.
If I'm choosing, definitely an Ultra. Not it. I was just, the Capra let me down in just a few places, in more places than I was wanting, and I just turned out to not really enjoy my Capra very much.
All I ever think of is John Schultz saying it's the crap. I know, but that's in my head. It's just like the axial something always, every time I look at it, I think Alexia or something. Like I can't ever say it.
Yeti?
Or it's like, I think it might be I don't know. One of them I look at and I look at the label all the time and I'm like, I cannot say that correctly. But like, obviously I know Axial, but like, I don't know.
Just blowing up, ratting out John Schultz.
Oh, like anybody's surprised by that. Capra RTR Spectrum radio came with the throttle and steering set on reverse, yet it performed correctly. What's wired backwards?
It doesn't necessarily, just because it's on reverse doesn't mean that it's incorrect. It just means that the standard rotation of the motor is the opposite way than the rotate. That's not wrong. That's just the way it needs to be set.
Brian Sherwood gave us $5. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Long live the brass roof rack. Overhauling the old SVC102 SCX. Can't decide on incision shocks or Proline scalers. Any input?
I go with whatever one you think you're gonna like best. I'm not gonna push one. I'm obviously have my bias towards the incision
full
shocks.
Disclaimer, Josh works for Vanquish,
Yeah.
so
Buy the one you think you're gonna like the most.
what is a good way to get rid of the jerking motion when turning and driving in the SCX-102 front axle?
Make sure your drive shafts are phased, which means lining up the ears on both ends. If you have them out of phase, you'll get a lot of drive shaft. You'll end up with a difference in speed at the output of the drive shaft and makes your axle jerky. But once you start getting to the limits of the actual turning, that's just the normal case of universals that they're going to have some chatter. That's just axle shafts.
Ride TEQ. I want to know more about that.
Ride TEQ?
See?
Huh,
what do you do? Vanquish Ultra it is. Thanks. Any current coupon codes for followers?
No, we don't do many of like that stuff just because we try and make sure that all the dealers have an equal chance of selling. We don't try and undercut dealers is the big thing. Sometimes a dealer might have a whole site discount, but we just try and protect the shops.
Have you tried an aftermarket chassis for the TRX4? I'm getting a GMRC2 timer in a week or two.
No, I haven't. It was something I considered, but it is not something that I ever decided. The TRX4 is such a good, durable truck. It's just not one that I ever felt was a great, like, comp style or like super high performance crawling truck. So,
Have you ever considered wall burnishings on aluminum parts? It said to add strength and produces a polished finish. Would it screw up the bearing
yeah,
matting surfaces on axle end?
burnishing, yeah, that's a whole process that's good for certain applications. Um, for our applications, for cost, it's not really something that is feasible. RC people already don't want to spend more than it costs to get something. So when you're already trying to have people compare against China prices with Chinese aluminum, you're adding things that are only some people are even going to care about or understand.
Like drinking a Zima? No. I haven't had a Zima since I was like 15, 21.
Right.
How many RCs before it's considered a problem? A lot.
I don't know. I, eh. I'm not the one to answer that question.
When will you? Are you guys doing SCX 24 stuff?
No. SCX 24 stuff is just not, it's can't really be competitive building SCX 24 stuff in the US. It costs about the same to make a tiny knuckle as it does to make a 1/10 scale knuckle, and no one is spending $45 on a pair of SCX 24 knuckles.
Wait, I thought you were only 21. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so pull apart the front axle. Should we pull apart let's pull apart the rear. Rear shouldn't take that long. So we'll do that, and then we'll pull apart the transmission and show everybody what's inside of that.
Last time Zemo was made was a limited run 2018. That was from Swoof 13. That sounds like an Alex.
An
fact.
Alex fact?
Yeah.
Huh.
You got some competition. My dad's friend had trailers full of RC planes. When it gets that bad, I think it may be a little too much. On top of the whole basement garage full of RC planes.
I mean, when I had a basement, it was entirely full. So,
Not just with RC, so.
I mean, pretty much.
Now we just have a house and garage full.
Yeah, I know.
And a shop.
We had to. Well, yeah, I do have work where I have half of my stuff. So, when it gets real bad, it just overflows to the office. When I think I'm not going to need it right away at home, then I can take it to the office.
Carrie B, we'll see you later. Stay safe. My local hobby shop owner bought his pickup specifically to haul his RC planes. I mean, I guess if you own a hobby shop, that's it. No, I'm not going to say that.
What?
Nothing.
What? Huh?
My dad took RC cars one time and traded them for a boat. Oh, yeah, I might do that. Is there still a 0% chance of us getting a CNC shop tour anytime in the near to distant future?
Yes. A 0% chance.
You got to clean.
Well, it's not just that. It's just a lot of the stuff that you do in a shop is things that are proprietary, and you want to try and.
Oh, I thought they meant Arch. This one. Here.
Oh, yeah. You mean Vanquish, right? Not my house.
Will you do an STX 24 performance things for 3D printing? Is what he meant. Sorry.
Oh, possibly, yeah. Yes, I will.
Would you mount shocks straight up or angle them on a Ryft for hill climbing?
Pretty much straight up is. If you angle them, you start losing a lot of the effectiveness of a shock, especially on trailing arms already. So you want to angle, like extreme angled shocks are good for Flex Friday. That's. All right. Rear
Josh
axle
could
time.
use an RC race trailer.
Yes, I could. I almost bought one once.
We did.
I almost did.
That's dumb.
Why?
Nobody needs that.
Shh.
You know what? You have an RC race trailer, and it's at Gladiator you got out in the driveway.
I mean,
how about it?
I could. There's so many things, so much more room for activities.
So hard. Will Axial offer the Ryft cage separately later?
I mean, you're gonna have to buy all of the components. So, yes, you can buy like all the replacement parts, but it's never all that. You're probably not gonna see a Ryft cage like for sale as a kit. Like that's just not something that they're probably that concerned with doing.
Josh, do you know the approximate time for printing the Simrig phone holder?
I don't. I know a bunch of people have done it. I have not done it myself. Phoenix has done it though, and he's in here. If I was to guess, I'd say like, I don't know, 15, 18 hours.
That's ridiculous.
What? That print time?
Yeah, I could get one bought and delivered from Amazon in less time than
It
that.
wouldn't look like a little sim racer.
Is the Ryft worth it? Chicken from Kelso, Washington.
Sorry. Yes, I absolutely think the Ryft is worth it. I think it's actually just a really cool kit overall. So we're gonna go to. So I pulled the rear brake assembly off just like we did on the front. Now this is the rear axle. I pulled out these two screws, one here, and now this whole axle slides out like that. Now this has a bearing on the inside and the outside. So double bearing supported. It's good for strength. And these shafts also quite beefy.
Are the bearings in the VS410 Ultra rubber sealed?
Yes.
Yes.
Other than the side diff gears, which are
714 3.5, which don't come with a seal at all.
Yeah, you can't get a rubber seal on those.
Can't get a rubber seal in that bearing size.
Correct.
John Schultz is here.
John Schultz. Probably heard that you were talking shit.
I wasn't. I was just saying.
She was blowing you up, John. So
I was just saying something funny that he said.
John has never said anything funny. So here's the rear axle shafts. Pull both bearings off. I should probably go to the camera that I think I'm looking at. Nice. So this is a 5mm diameter here at this portion, which a regular AR60 shaft would be 4mm. Let me see if I have one.
Do you think that this will come in a kit?
Let's see.
Got my first Vanquish wheel set, and they're worth every penny. Great quality.
Thanks. There's one.
Is this going to come in a kit?
It's a possibility. So here is a bomber rear axle shaft. Now this is a long side, this is a short side, but you can see the difference in thickness.
Why do you like rubber sealed bearings?
They're just good for our environments, dust and moisture and all that. So,
why isn't the gas pump on Thingiverse?
It is. It's stupid how Thingiverse like doesn't list some things. If you go to my website though, which is harleydesigns.com, I made like a blog post for each week, and you can go in there and it'll link you directly to it. I don't know, and it's dumb. Thingiverse sucks a lot of the time. Not gonna lie. It's a free site, but at this point, I almost have to pay for like my mini factory, so it's at least reliable. So we're going to take the two 6x12 bearings that were on that rear axle shaft and throw them to the side and replace them with two new ones.
In your first video said there was going to be a gray one also. Is that an RTR also or a kit?
It doesn't appear to be an RTR, so it's either option parts or a future kit. So we've got.
I think he was talking about metal versus metal shielded, or rubber shielded versus metal.
I don't know. I've just always preferred rubber shielded.
There's got to be a reason because
You don't. It's
we don't sell RC kits that have metal shielded.
right.
Um,
So that is pulled apart. I replaced the bearings in this already, so I'm going to try and remember that I did that so I don't replace them again. But we're going to do the same to the long side, and then we'll open and do the same in the center.
how's the giveaway truck going?
Pretty good. It'll be done before too long.
60 Jeep Gladiator or 2020?
What? 60s Jeep? Oh, I mean, 2020 if I'm driving it every day.
Yeah.
I like the old ones and all, but modern conveniences are sure nice. That 8-speed transmission is quite the step up from my old one. So
Your
Gabe,
shipping was super fast, says Mike.
get down.
Mike Philpott, I think he's left me a note before.
There we go.
Possible rear steer on it?
Not without totally different housings. You can't use the front axle in the rear. It's just not going to work. And I also don't think it's a very good idea. Like, I know full-size guys do it, but this much power, it's just, you're not going to be able to use it. You're going to be able to use 10% steering. Like, it's just not, I don't know, it's not worth it.
Where'd the idea come from for the Vanquish VS4 Scout originate from?
Um,
God bless them.
the Scout body is just one of, I'm a big fan of Scouts. The guys at the office didn't disagree enough to go with something different.
Who's building the Slam Dually Gladiator that was on your Insta story?
It's God, I don't know what that company is called, but they're just a company that I follow, and I don't know. I think it's cool.
Nicole, I've never left you a note. That's weird. Your husband's right there. Where can I get a colored hardware set?
What do you mean, colored hardware set?
Did RC Patina guy win the giveaway? Yeah. God, this cat is being a nightmare.
I know. I don't know what her deal is tonight.
There was a guy in Omaha drove a '69 Scout to high school. Wasn't Josh. He had new trucks. Have you seen the Scale Sherpa? It is amazing.
I have. I mean, it's kind of cool. I don't know that it's something that I would like find very useful. I mean, I have a lot of dumb.
What is it?
Sherpa's like there's a full size. It's basically this little. It's got huge tires, right? That almost touch in the middle. They're so big, and it can like drive into the water. It's almost pointless. It's probably the most pointless RC.
Oh, you are one to talk.
I'm just saying.
Is there such a? You have a fucking
language.
Big rig with a monitor in it right now. Like, talk to me about useless.
That is multi-purpose. You can do spreadsheets and drive RC cars.
Oh, I hate you so hard. Am I okay with driving the old Jeep instead of the Soul Sucker? I am. I'm okay with it. I don't. In the late 90s, Millard West.
Millard West. I know Millard West. That was the nice school. That was the fancy one.
Oh.
Fancy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it wasn't like Creighton Prep, but still very fancy.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
You see that?
Yeah.
It's cool.
What?
Can I ask you what Trax is?
Oh, it's a TRX4 with rubber.
Right. Like 80 511 4s in it.
Because it's got all like the little rollers inside of the tracks, which have a bearing on each side, and there's a bunch of them in that whole thing.
There's 20 in each one.
Yeah. Plus the transmission and axles normally have all that. Like, but yeah.
What does it do?
Almost nothing.
Oh my God, you so
like no, I will stand by this. No one who's ever been like super happy that they bought something with tracks on it.
Oh, it's an option?
Yeah.
Not just TRX4?
No, TRX4 is great. This is like
No,
one
I
of
know
the.
that. I'm saying it's not just for the TRX4.
No, it's only for the TRX4. Those specific ones.
Oh, but they have them for other things?
Yeah, you can buy tracks for multiple vehicles,
That's what I'm asking.
but not those specific ones. Yeah, it is.
Tracks are for special people. Half track, Josh.
Oh, even more pointless. Matt, that's right. Matt found the next most pointless car, his half track.
You cannot even.
Matt knows his truck is pointless.
Like, you can't even talk about
What?
me to a customer. You really want those tracks? Is Moose Jaw? I'm happy my truck has tracks. It wouldn't move otherwise.
Okay, well that's like the blizzard up there.
Oh, okay.
You know.
I think the tracks is all bushings. That's probably why
Yeah,
people buy
she's talking about a
bearing
bearing
kits.
Yeah.
That has 80 bearings in it, and I'm like, what is this for?
You're just grabbing tubes.
Eight of them. Yeah, no, I do. And I'm like, what? Who? Why? I'm like, those semis have like 30 in them, and that seems like a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
What brand of Allen heads are you using?
The Vanquish ones. Except on my power driver, those are Traxxas ones.
I did get the Kyosho tracks for the Mini Z, says Matt.
Yes. I talked about those in the news a while back, and Matt said he got them. That's going to be interesting.
Matt's builds in general are so.
You know.
Tracks seem cool, like dating a stripper, but in reality.
Exactly.
Right?
That is a great parallel to draw.
That's Josh's favorite.
What?
Anything about a stripper?
Oh. I was like, where you going? What you talking about?
What else would I be talking about?
I don't know. That's why I was pausing to understand what you meant.
Did you tell Matt about
about the double wide?
Oh no, I forgot. I forgot about that. Oh, F Charger TV gave us $10. Thank you. Yep, drove with a set of tracks once and sold for half price.
Yeah.
No, about the double. I forgot about. I was like, what are you guys talking about? All I saw was Matt saying I'm a double wide kind of guy, and I was like,
that doesn't sound right.
Matt's more of a park model, but I was talking about. I wondered if you told him about our visitors or shit bandits.
I don't know if I did. So last week during the stream, we did talk about it because Nicole got a bird feeder for the monster.
Yeah.
And it's a suction cup one.
New feeder.
It's a suction cup one that goes on the window. So she can just stare out the window at them. Oh my God, Kat. I can get down.
Suck.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, we have the bird feeder for that little a-hole to stare at birds to try and occupy her time. Anyway, Nicole went to go hang it on the outside of the window, and there was a significant pile of droppings, but like large,
like human-sized shits.
Like, watch your language.
Why?
Watch your profanity. But so it concerned her quite a bit.
Because I thought it was the guy that the people caught on their Ring camera at 3 a.m. randomly shitting in their yard.
So
I was like, oh, this guy's back. He's
in our backyard.
Yeah.
Or in our side yard. So then the next day she looks outside and she goes, there's more. You have to buy a trail camera. So I Amazoned a trail camera so I could have it the next day. And we placed it. The first day that I placed it, we went out there and it went off at like 3 something.
Yeah.
But it only took one. It was in photo mode, not video, and it only took one
Because
picture.
you didn't read the instructions like I told you to.
Whatever.
But yeah.
I knew what I was doing. Anyway, reset it the next night. The next morning, Nicole leaps out of bed.
Yeah. I want to see what's shitting in my yard.
So just excited. Runs out there. Somehow overnight, she all of a sudden learned how to use my computer so that she could figure out where the SD cards
You know how long
went.
it took me? Because I asked you and you said you had to put it in. So I knew it was in there and you have that little thing sitting out. So I was like, sweet.
And pulls it up. And yes, a family of raccoons traffics through our yard every night.
And then runs.
And got it on video, the actual action.
Yeah.
And in the same spot. Like craps.
It's their litter box.
It craps in the same spot, almost on the move.
Yeah.
Like
they
barely
walk
slows
through
down.
and
They
then run.
come in somewhere else and then they leave on the side yard. And yeah, just on the run, just slides out. And that camera angle was basically perfect to get just the wrong shot.
Yeah. So now we need to.
They knocked one of the fence boards down.
Yeah, that's not how they're getting in.
No, that's not how they're getting in. They're coming in from somewhere else.
They just climb over the fence.
Yeah. And then just drive through crap in our yard.
So now I have to figure out how to get rid of it. And people say they don't have raccoons here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
They do. And they're big.
They're
Couldn't even fit
They're
fat
huge.
fat little thing couldn't even fit through the fence. He's like stuck and just like.
Yeah, those were some big ones.
We're used to raccoons from the Midwest. They're everywhere. You just don't see them often here.
So, mothballs?
It's mothballs.
What if it was a possum?
No, we have the trail cam footage.
I did read that. That Josh could go pee out there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. I'll have to make sure I take the trail cam down first.
Fusion 1800 clip in a VS410 Ultra.
The which one? Fusion? No, the Fusion is too long. So, yeah, that's so that's been what we've been dealing
That's
with.
my excitement for the week.
2 days in a row, though, I've never seen Nicole get out of bed so quickly.
I mean, I was.
Tee up the footage. I can actually do that. We've done both axles.
Lone Star RC guy, $10. Thank you. We are so glad we tuned in tonight. Hilarious. As a bonus, we learned about wildlife. T-Shack's here.
T-Shack.
Sorry from outside your window about your live feed. That was way too long. I had to do that. Gotta get bear pee in a bottle. I know, I just don't want deer pee. I hate deer pee. I hate bear pee. I hate all of it, and I don't want it outside my house.
Let's see. So this should be quick. Let's make sure we have the right.
Yeah, because there was a picture of me picking it up.
Oh yeah, you see Nicole's face. Just, it was pretty. I mean, it was a good one.
Is that the one?
I think this is the one.
Yep.
Yeah, there's the.
It pisses me off.
Oops. So can I hit play? Yes, I can. All right. We're just gonna. I can do this quickly. Sorry for anybody who's not all that interested in our raccoon problem.
I'd rather watch this than you do that.
Pause. Sorry. We're going to add file. Almost there. Apologize for the delay. And it is 23. So it's that one. Open. Okay. So here you go. Here is.
God. And he looks up to see if I'm watching, like, huh.
Yeah. And then exits stage left. So there you go. there, there has been the excitement. This is just Nicole watching it herself. And I don't know why it's in the same spot. Like,
Because it's a litter box.
but it's in within
Yeah.
a 2-foot square of the same spot. Like, what's going on?
Oh,
Not happy.
no.
Front rear axle are rebuilt though on the Ryft. Now it's time for the transmission. Anyone who's just tuning in because they like searched Ryft teardown video, and it's like going halfway through, and then there's a night vision camera shot. Like, my apologies. This is a lifestyle channel, not just a Mercedes.
Yeah. Cayenne pepper will get rid of them. I can do that.
We're gonna be making quite the stew outside then. With
Well,
cayenne
you
pepper.
put it in the same spot in your house, don't you? Just saying. What kind of trail cam is that? Whichever one was going to be here the next day.
Whichever one was available on Prime for next day shipping.
Stone Darcy, this is my first time watching your stream, so coming back for more. Well, welcome, thank you.
So, yeah, there you go.
I'm not live trapping it. No.
I don't want to deal with it.
Dirty. Dirty.
So, all right. I've pulled 5 screws out of the bottom, and the
Vanquish trail cam.
oh, there's another one. There's a hidden screw. I missed it.
Are you gonna put lockers in the?
I will probably experiment with it. So probably yes. I just don't know which ones yet. Like I don't know if I'll get it, if I'll lock everything or just the center, just the center and the rear. There we go.
Technically, it's still crawler content. Yeah.
Night crawlers.
Ugh, bastards. They're so fat here. There's no competition. It's like the squirrels. The raccoon my mom
The
had.
squirrels here are scrawny.
No, they're fat. Our ones we have are fat.
Us here in our little nature preserve.
Yes.
Okay.
Ryft versus raccoon.
Huh. I think that I might actually. I don't think I could show that type of thing on YouTube. I think it'd be like animal cruelty. Chasing a raccoon with my Ryft.
You chase the cats and stuff.
I absolutely do not chase them.
I lost somebody. So I apologize. If you say you could go read my comment, I cannot get back up there. Cannot find it.
Post it again.
Gene Master gave us $5. Thank you. That's nothing. We get redback spiders and snakes in the Dooney and kangaroos in the backyard.
In the dunny.
Dunnies
That's
are
the-
Aussie for toilet.
Yes.
Oh. Ugh!
What?
They get snakes and spiders in the toilet. They can't get through the bird feeder, but Josh is like, quit tell them like chase shit with the RCs.
Yeah. All right. I'm just pulling the ESC off of the trans, and then start going over. I'm gonna dust this off for a second first.
TNL tonight, Nicole learned. So many deadly things here in Australia. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for not showing the footage of me using the yard. If my wife sees a snake in the house, we have to build a new house.
We never saw the one that was in our house.
No, we just saw the skin.
Yeah.
Which was terrifying enough.
There was a...
I was like, well, I guess that's why we don't have mice.
Yeah, because there was like a 4-foot shed that was coming out of the drop ceiling of the basement. Like, that's not normal.
Well, that was longer than that.
I mean, I'm not one to
I mean,
undersell size generally, but it was
no, you're not. Basically, my parents had a raccoon that would drink water from the hummingbird feeder every night. Oh, if they touch my hummingbird feeder.
Nicole's hummingbirds are her favorite thing. She's like, look. He's back. Come look at this.
I
Come look at
know
this.
them too. Like I know which ones. I'm like, oh, I have a different one today.
Like,
They're gonna fight.
yeah. He's so fat. Like,
My hummingbirds at home we only had in the summer,
so
and
here,
they weren't fat. And these guys we have in the winter, and they're fat.
this is the size of this centered transmission. It's large. Like it's a bulky unit. This is a 550 can motor, so you can tell it's a good size. There's a lot of width to it. That spur gear cover itself is huge, and gives you some idea there.
Phoenix is leaving us. Do you have a date?
It's his bedtime.
You have a date?
No, it's his bedtime. He fall asleep in his chair. I'll pull the spur gear cover off. The spur gear on this thing is, or the spur gear itself is pretty impressive. It's all steel and is no slipper, so unforgiving without a differential. So some open diffs definitely help keep things alive, even though all the there we go.
It's a transmission set up for a dig.
No, it's set up for 2-speed though. So the size of that gear. Let me grab a. Let's see.
A 4-inch shed is a 3-foot or 4-foot shed, is a 3-foot snake. Either way, I think when we're talking feet, probably don't want them in my house. I mean, I don't know. They don't bother me. Snakes don't bother me. But.
So here's a bomber transmission and skid plate that this is the one that I took out of my bomber to replace with that high altitude one. But you can tell the metal, and I believe that's mod 1. Yeah, so this is mod 1, not 32 pitch. This is 32 pitch. So if you're buying pinions, you need to make sure and buy mod 1 specific pinions and not just your standard 32 pitch. But
what's a gear ratio of the trains?
That I don't know, but we could probably calculate.
What's the status of the Ultimate Bomber build?
I did the last episode on the electronics of it, but other than that, it's ready to run. I just haven't ran it. So, but the build itself is done. All right.
Have you seen the need for ultrasonic cleaner?
I've got one at work that I've thought about bringing home.
He doesn't see the need for cleaning anything.
So I don't know. I've thought about it before. I've got one at work that we're not using. I was like, I could, but
is that like the jewelry cleaner?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what Eddie has one. He washed my rings one day. I was like, I don't. They're not super fancy. Like, sure. I mean, no. He's like, you have any jewelry you want me to clean? I was like, that's the only jewelry I wear, so.
So, I'll pull the drive shafts off, and then I'm going to split the transmission case.
Spiders, bugs suck more than snakes. Yes, that is for sure.
I don't disagree with that.
I have shared your video to Axial Ryft Owners Group. Good day from Australia, mate. OMGRC.
Thank you, and glad you're checking in. So again, this is the spur gear cover sits towards the rear of the truck, so you actually see this from the rear, whatever, that orientation, and the power switch sits right here on it. So the front side is this side. Now the 2-speed, the shift fork will come right out of this little cover. So you pull that off, and then these two ears here is where the micro servo will sit. It'll be like an SX107 from Spectrum. That's probably what that is made to fit. So 2-speed ready, and I'm sure we'll see a 2-speed kit before too long.
Oh, what do you do at Fast Eddie? I pack orders and I mail them out.
Moral support.
Sometimes. Depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
How is there a Ryft owners group already? Thank you, Jackie. That's what I was thinking too.
There's an owners group as soon as something goes for sale. It's more like a support group. Like, I haven't got it yet, I know. 3 days waiting. We'll go to this and I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm just trying to get it open. So we pulled the rear output out, or the front output out, with the trans. That's fine. That's fine. Come on. Come out. So that's the front. What is that? Yes. That is the front drive shaft output. So since it's a center differential, it's separate. Man, a lot of grease in there though. I didn't skimp on grease. That's not always typical for Axial. Looks like 5x11 bearings in there. Looks like another 12x18 by 4, and then a 6x12 by 4 on the outside. So we'll get all of those pulled and replaced. But I mean, almost too much grease.
Is that that thing is beefy and girthy and all of the above, as everyone's been talking about it?
Yes, it is.
Nicole's ignoring my Prusa question because she doesn't know how to pronounce Prusa. Is that how you say it?
That's how I say it. I don't know if it's right, but
Prusa.
yes. I am wanting a Prusa very bad. I just have, however you say it, but I just haven't ordered it yet. I'm just haven't pulled the trigger. Now, there's a lot of, so this transmission case is what?
Josh has a bearing fetish.
I do have a bearing fetish. So
is that why you make me work for Eddie?
Right. From this bottom part of the gear, this gear case is open all the way down to here. So this is all empty space in here. And that's likely because it's 2-speed ready. So this will have a whole nother gear set with shift cogs and everything in there to shift between the two ratios. But
why do you have a bearing fetish? That's bizarre.
I just like a properly sized bearing.
That's true. It's always like, ugh.
I'm like, oh, it's a garbage.
Except for you gave me an ID the other day. And
oh yeah, I asked her for if she had some certain bearings, but I gave it to her in the wrong order. I'm like, I need the second dimension to be a 3, and she's like, we really don't have anything. And I was like, oh crap.
That's and then after I looked forever, you're like, oh, just kidding.
It's like actually it's the first diameter.
Per Facebook, there isn't nearly enough grease in there.
Yeah, right. I would say that per Facebook, whoever said that is very, very incorrect. But yeah, that is some chunky gears, all mod 1, all metal and very wide. So that should hold up pretty well.
Nicole would look outstanding in a Browns jersey. Nobody looks good in a Browns jersey.
God.
Thank you, the Bigfoot. It's true. Oh, we're going to kill him.
That's the idler gear.
Chunky gears for a thick boy. That was Mike J.
God. Idler gear and gear shaft. Again, since there is the 2-speed isn't in there, they're just nothing on them. Now the top, there's an E-clip. There's 2 E-clips. Hate E-clips.
A Niners jersey over my dead, cold body. All metal and very wide, just how I like my women.
I mean,
good bearing fits are so satisfying, especially when you're down to little tiny tolerances.
Yes.
Josh, can you do a tire size comparison?
I can. Once we get some things to put back together and we can get into that.
There is no DLC tonight, I know.
That spur gear is just impressive and heavy. Super heavy. They milled it out probably just to take some mass out of it because that's chunky.
What is this trend with using the male-female symbol now?
I don't know. Is it just Mike J?
No, everyone does it.
Really? Maybe it's one of those things that they're using it for something. They're using something different and it shows up as that.
Someone can... Mod 1 is 0.8, I believe.
No, 0.8 is 32 pitch. Mod 1 is larger than 0.8.
Someone can confirm. He said afterwards. Of course, this one, Know-It-All, Mr. Know-It-All would confirm. I knew you'll like my orange veil jokes. Wait, you like metal women? Watch out for rust. Ooh, tetanus. Get your tetanus shots.
Only if they cut you.
A woman will always cut you.
Metal shielded bearings inside the trans. Those are 511s. Place that.
The system does it. Oh, weird.
Ooh, that's
okay.
Cool. Yeah, I figured they were trying to use it for something else.
Huh.
Okay, so the motor plate itself is cast, like we saw. And then the inner bearing, or the bearing fit on the inside of the case, is actually machined into the motor plate. So it's just stronger than if it was in the plastic case. Now the idler gear and then the lower gear, those are all in the actual plastic, but it's kind of cool that they integrated that in. It's just a slightly stronger setup that I like to see.
I'm about to sell a Futaba 7XP, willing to barter some of your time for it.
Barter some of my time? What do you need? What?
I'll risk lockjaw for a nice little moment.
What's that joke? Would you rather give the first 90% of the last 10? It's not appropriate.
What?
It's not appropriate.
Okay. Is that something you learned from your dad?
No.
Oh.
Your Mom's House podcast.
Oh.
I had to make sure and say the whole thing, not just Your Mom's House, because that would have been.
I mean, either way, it could have worked.
I mean.
Did we cover what you guys are drinking tonight? Coffee and
water, because we're on a clean diet for the next 30 days.
I think Josh thinks he knows more about bearings than you. He probably does, actually.
Now, I worked with Fast Eddie for a long time before Nicole started.
I just know the sizes that are in stuff. I don't think I actually know what.
Yeah, you didn't know load ratings of bearings and things like that.
I don't even know what a load rating is. So.
Tell you what a load rating is.
That's why somebody asked what you were drinking tonight.
Probably.
Hi, new to the channel. Hello, Howard, 1127.
Hello. Oh.
And the hobby, what's a low budget collar that would be good to start with?
Let's see. Oh, I think I grabbed the wrong ones. Oops. I replaced those. Low budget. I mean, the Element has some low budget ones. Axial, if you go with the SCX-10-2s, which are still really good, there's some really good low budget options. I actually really like the SCX-10-2 still. It's probably still one of my favorite, $300 or less options. So, and there's a ton of upgrades that you can get for them. Still one of my top suggestions.
Good night, Torre.
Oh, we've got a bearing here on the backside of an E-clip that we have to replace.
Oh, he needs a BS410 Pro built with a TRX4 front portal, delete with Vanquish portal rear for that barter.
Well, wait, TRX4. Will you read that comment again?
You can message him.
He can message me.
Yeah.
Yes.
This.
Found it. You know how lucky that is?
Can you identify all your bearing sizes by just looking at them?
For the most part.
Probably not.
That was lucky.
I didn't even see what you did. I just
shot
felt it.
I shot an E-clip. Did it hit you and bounce back there?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad you were here tonight.
Aww. That's nice. Does the included ESC have a censored port for use with censored motor?
No, Spectrum stuff is not sensor capable, I don't believe.
February.
I could be wrong. Let me double check.
Also, Michael Morrison, also new to the channel.
No.
Pre-ordered a Ryft. I own a G-Made GOM, wondering why you don't like those.
I mean, there's a lot of things about the GOM I don't like. If you like it, I mean, that's great because it's your RC. There's just a lot of things about the GOM I did not like. Design and a lot about the design.
Almost perfect. It's a Tory.
Torre.
Yeah, because he's a Live.
Torre.
Good night. Josh, longer to disassemble than assemble. Hi, Nicole. Checking in way late. Unibody wheeler.
Local
guy.
It does take longer because you got to assemble it and disassemble it both.
What do the trans mounts to the skid look like?
I will show you as soon as we finish this. We've got all the bearings replaced on that side. Spins nice now. Probably spun fine before too. Like I said, the bearings didn't need replacing. It's just always good practice.
Are you guys going to make any 10-2 rock jocks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. We're not tearing apart the diff. I replaced the bearings though.
You gave away your gatekeeper and it was in my hobby shop in Arizona.
I didn't give it away.
A while ago.
I let a friend borrow it who was traveling to Arizona for a couple of months. It's actually back here. Is it in here?
Oh, our Montana friend.
Yes.
Great. Now my kitty's watching with me. I don't know where our kitty went. How long down the pipeline before I see VP goodies for these? Got a black one coming.
I never can give times and things like that. It's just not never does any good to give times.
Yeah.
Things change, shit happens, like
Don't kill it. E-clips were designed by Satan.
Maybe it was Satan. What was that from? Was it Church Lady?
Yes. I really like live streams, but if I miss it, I don't like to watch the recording.
I get it. Sometimes that's how that goes.
Yeah. You can just go on there, hit like, and then you made your presence known.
Oops.
What's the pitch on the Gears 32?
32 is a pitch. 32 pitch. 32 pitch and 0.8 mod are basically the same. These are mod 1 or 1 mod, which is larger than 32 pitch. So stronger than 32. Isn't that special?
What do you think about the super shafty Chupacabra cage?
Doesn't have any triangulation between the two sides, which is kind of an important thing. I would be concerned about that. Other than that, I mean, it's a milled cage, but it's going to be milled in China. So
I'm putting together an SCX-10-2. Which Vanquish Axial should I get, and do you have them in stock?
Sorry, what did I say? SCX-10-2 axles?
Yes. Which Vanquish Axial should I get for an SCX-10-2?
I like the F9s myself, mainly. That's my favorite one. So that's the one I usually suggest. Those have been on the site pretty regularly lately. And so that would be my preference, my suggestion. Right.
Random city sister account. I hate my Axial Ray. That's it. Sorry about that. Can you make a crawler out of it?
Out of this, it would, I mean, anything's possible, but it would not be.
Why? Why would you make a crawler?
Yeah,
it would look dumb.
It would not be the bomber would be a better choice to make a crawler out of. Like, otherwise you're buying this and it's built in a certain way to be able to take big power used for certain applications that is just not ideal for
what Matt says we have 5 dislikes.
Yeah, that happens. I get it.
Because I'm here.
We had animal droppings. Like live streams aren't for everybody. I don't fault anybody for not liking to watch live streams. Some people don't have the time.
So they're just like, F you.
Yeah. You can't be mad at it.
Oh, I'm not
I get
mad.
I get dislikes all the time.
Yeah.
I get it. I do some dislikable things.
I mean, yeah. It's, yeah.
You know. You live with me.
You sent a message on Facebook.
Okay.
Well, just the axles, the AR-60s are horrible. Any tips to make them good?
I just did a recent series on my bomber, which is the same axles as the Wraith. And in that, I kind of go through and I talked about all the upgrades that I chose for mine. I didn't change the housings on mine. They're still plastic housings. But I went through all the rest of the upgrades and why I chose them. So I think that'd be a good suggestion. It was called like my ultimate bomber build. So it's not my older budget bomber build. It's a new one. So all reassembled. All the screws are in place. We'll throw the spur back on. Then I'll show you guys the skid plate mount.
What's Nicole's build agenda tonight? To leave? Who's this chick? It's the one I saw you with the other night.
That's rude.
That's funny. Does the Ryft feel like it has too much power?
No, because it's made to be like vehicles that are made with that kind of power.
Too much power? That's like too much money.
So let's do a. I still have coffee left. How did that happen? So here's the inner portion of the skid plate. You can see the skid plate, the bulk of it sits here. The outputs are in line that way. Kind of sits throughout there, but there's mounts everywhere. Let's see, there's one all the way over here that goes into the motor plate. There's another one up here for the motor plate. And then there's two there and then two there.
Somebody said, is it hard for you to throw away those perfectly good little baggies of plastic servo hone screws and stuff? He doesn't throw them away.
I do throw those away. Yes, I didn't used to. It used to be much harder for me, but those things now I can throw away. I do throw away stuff like that. It's all the stuff that I take off a build when I'm upgrading it that I have a harder time throwing away. But I put it all in a box, and then usually when we have swap meets, that stuff goes, and I can purge all at once. I don't like to sell things individually, like piecing here, like $5, $10. Like it's a hassle. So I like to do it at swap meets that are local, when I can just offload a bunch of stuff quickly and don't have to deal with after transaction stuff. Shipping is not my strong. So we're going to bolt this transmission back in.
Oh yeah, you have coffee because you saved it from tipping over.
That's right.
That's true. This trash still on? Ugh. Oh.
That's so.
Why does it?
Why does what?
It like blocks his comments all the time, and doesn't even say anything.
Sometimes when there's a lot of emojis, it thinks that it's a bot. But or depending on what.
Is there a date for the next swap meet? The Unibody Wheeler wants to know.
No, not that I know of. Yeah, I mean, they're all of them that we did have in 2020 got canceled basically, other than we had one.
Jeffrey Helsel gave us $5. Thank you from
Thank you.
SGRC in Washington State. Thanks for all the videos.
Thanks for watching.
Yes, it was your Frank Flood 6 RCZs.
Z's.
RCZs.
Whoops.
But it did it before too, and there's no reason.
I did notice that that screw had Loctite residue on it. I didn't put any back on it, which probably should, but it's cool to see that they did use Loctite in positions. And that was the last thing there. So mainly what we're doing now is just reassembly. Unless there's... So if you guys have specific things you'd like to see, I do have to... Oh, we have the trailing arms with the upgraded parts that I'll show you now. So this is Axial's, the trailing arm for this, and these are the metal link plates that they'll be selling. These aren't included with this truck, but my trailing arm, which we'll pull off here, it bent. So these plates are going to be, you're either going to need plates or you're going to need metal trailing arms, basically. And, you know, they just sandwich across each side. Sandwich the trailing arm at least so you can see that. Let me see if I have a stock bomber trailing arm.
What would you upgrade on this before even taking it out?
I would upgrade the trailing arms if they were available, or get the link plates. This is the wrong part. See, if I threw this stuff away, I wouldn't have it for these quality comparisons. So, top one is the bomber. It's awesome.
I have to go
So
check on something. Can I? No? Huh?
up to you.
I'll be back.
Okay. So top one is the bomber here. Bottom one is the Ryft. Now you can see the length difference, which is important. It's about 10 millimeters. But the other thing is that the size of the pivot balls is considerably bigger on the Ryft versus the bomber. So even if you were okay with a slightly shorter wheelbase, there'd be a difference in the actual function of these things. Here, this is one of the pivot balls. I'm going to pop one out of the Wraith, and I'll show you that. Wraith bomber. Hold almost. Okay, here we go. So this is a standard bomb. Let's do this the easier way. So where's my focal point? Okay. So bomber over here, and this is the Ryft. The diameter on the Ryft is significantly bigger. The spacing is also wider. So everything about them, like just trying to put the same parts into, you know, like if you're going to try and put Ryft parts onto a bomber or onto a Wraith, you know, things aren't going to fit the same way. You're going to, you know, or vice versa. If you try and put bomber parts in, you're going to have slop, you know, because they're not going to fit the same size. Both of them still use an M3 screw through the center, so it doesn't jump up in diameter there, just in the other way. If you'd like a measurement on that, ball material is metal. I believe it's steel or probably stainless steel. Let's check a magnet. No, it's some sort of ferrous because it's magnetic, but it is metal. So at least you got that. Pretty nice. The bomber one, however, was plastic. So in comparison, I'll give you a measurement. The diameter of these pivot balls is 6.75 millimeters outside diameter of the actual ball versus 5.7 or 5, you know, a little under. So about a millimeter larger on the Ryft. And overall width, you've got 9.55, like outside to outside, versus 7.75. So a couple millimeters in that direction. Can you spell that type of metal? Ferrous metal? Steel, likely. Um, but yes, you never know. Could be a number of things. Anyway, um, so yeah, I'm gonna pull this trailing arm off and get that replaced. We'll see what the condition of the rod is. Now it looks like the pivot ball at the chassis side is different. I mean, it's like a stainless color versus the black one that was on the other end. Oh, actually, that black one must come from a front link. I still don't know why they were different, but these are kind of loose in here, but they're not like sloppy. They just move freely. So, but this is you can see that it's bent in more than one direction. Well, you can see it buckled there, right through where the second shock mounting position is. No bueno. So the plastic around the ball end is a little thin. I don't. Doesn't appear so actually. I mean, it's just you got to take into context the amount of plastic on these versus being that they're all larger. It's probably the same or more plastic than on any of the other ones. So driver error failure. I mean, I was driving it pretty hard and it didn't fail like so that I couldn't drive it. I was probably driving half the video with the trailing arm like that. But I was trying to make for somewhat interesting video in some sort of way. Um, Even if that didn't turn out to be true, who knows? You're, you're
Why?
killing me.
You don't need me. I can't read. I forgot how to read.
It's so helpful, though.
Can I sit here and just look at you?
Sure.
No.
Doesn't bother me.
People want to talk about RC things.
Yeah, but you're reading those things so that I don't have
Not
to.
really.
You're fine. Whatever you want. Good night.
Good night. I did just see my Bengal breeders giving all of his cats away.
Oh, now all of a sudden you're interested. So I'm just replacing trailing arms.
Was our New Year's Eve kiss in the making there? Always. Night.
Good night there. We'll see. I'll catch up. No, Nicole, don't leave. Do your job, Nicole.
You pay me enough.
Yeah, that is true. She definitely doesn't. Her hourly rate for this is severely cut. Josh will lose all his people. Did I put? Oh, interesting. So I just put the ball ends in either end without paying attention, but the chassis side one is a narrower pivot ball than the front one. So they're not all the same even. Take them back out. Swap them. All right. Get these replaced, fixed, and I'll start my slow reassembly. I'm guessing most of this will be. I'll try and pay attention to the chat as much as possible because I can reassemble this off camera too. Most of the questions would have been at least answerable at this point. So hopefully I can help you if you have a question that's specific to the car. All right, we need to replace the shock. These shocks are quite large. I can't tell if there was, I'm gonna brush this off. I'll take a look at the. Have we seen the MSRP on this? They are, well, the retail price on them is $4.99. So it doesn't appear that I've got shock oil all over everything. So it doesn't appear that they were leaking. I don't have any plastic that's oily around the bottom cartridge. My rod end doesn't have any oil on it. I had sand collected around, so there was some, residue that it was sticking to, but it definitely hasn't weeped through or anything like that. So about those roundabouts. Damn near X-Max shocks. I don't know about that, but they are definitely long. Got it. Don't worry. The one thing that it bugged me a little bit was just that the springs rub on the body and make that noise. That I don't like that, but it doesn't affect anything. I just don't like the noise. That is a picky opinion, of which I have many. So they did the screws that are needed for this will be longer now. And they didn't include these because these were parts that Axial sent me. So I will have different screws that are the proper length. Let's make sure. Nope, too long. There we go. 3D printed spring guides. You'd have to mill off the actual coil or the threads to get everything to go. So I don't know. Hey, thank you, Tim B. Just got a VS410 Pro. Gonna run a Castle Mamba X with a 3800 kV slate on 4S lipo. What would be the best size pinion gear? Pretty small. A 3800 kV on 4S is very fast. That motor actually might not survive. 3800 kV on 4S is a lot of RPMs. What is that? 3800 times, even just like say 15 volts. That's 57,000 RPMs, which is a lot. You're not going to let that motor's not going to last very long. I would recommend if you're going to run 4S, 2700 kV to 2300 kV is the sweet spot. I run a 3100 kV on 4S in my VS410 Pro, and that's technically not what the motor shouldn't like that. It's more RPMs than it should really have. So anyway, just an FYI. What's the max RP? Yeah. Time to introduce my kids to the fiendish plot of Dr. Fu Manchu. Good night. I don't know what that means. Is that a kid's story? It doesn't sound like one. Josh, all your F9 axles are sold out on Vanquish. Do you know any that will be ready? They're just like everything. They're in production. They come through, they go to anodizing, they get packaged, they go on the site, and then you just have to catch them when they go on there before they all sell out. We've been making them though. So the other thing is that oftentimes when those things go on the site, dealers pick them all up. So you have to check the dealers too. RPP, A-Main, Horizon, any of your local dealers, things like that. Tim, thanks, sir. Have a 2800 slate as well. What about pinion with it? There you go. Start with the stock pinion on that. That's what I run on mine. And I run a 3100 kV on 4S. So just run the stock one. See if you like it. See if it's too fast. If it's too fast, then drop down. But the included pinion in the kit should be a good fit. There it is. So XE run 3660, 3200 kV, and XE run on 3S is my plan. There you go. I'm in Canada. There isn't a lot of Vanquish up here. Yeah. We have a number of Vanquish dealers in Canada. But yeah, not a lot, 3,800 kV max, 100,000 RPMs. I don't think that that's. I think that I don't think that that's the case in a 540 motor. I mean, you're not going to see that. You're not going to see any 540 motor that's typically used in crawlers survive at those RPMs. I mean, maybe, yeah, no, I just don't. I don't think you're going to see that work. Let's see. Brushed motor suggestions for the Ultra. Thinking Holmes, but which one? Oh, yeah. I have not ran a brushed motor in mine. If I was going to choose one, I think I'd do like one of his Magnums, most likely. Probably be the way that I would go. If I was going to run just something like basic and my kind of go-to brush motor from him, it'd be the Crawlmaster Expert in a 13 turn, which is a 5 slot, so it's more like the speed of a 27 turn. Did I just do that backwards again? I did, and I looked at it specifically. God damn it. I don't know. Our local cheap asses ruined our shops carrying Vanquish because all they wanted cheap Chinese energy. It happens. It's the way of the world sometimes. It's Torquemaster Expert 35 turn in my pro. Yeah, that's another a great one. The Expert series is a great way to go. I think that it's kind of like my go-to if I'm choosing. Rebuildable still, but saves you some money because it's still machine wound. So it's a good route. There we go. What shock tool is that? This is like a super old hot racing tool. It's like 10 or 12 years old now. I'm definitely stoked on the VP parts that I've got recently. Well, that's good. It should be. Damn it. I'm going to take that. The way that I put these on, the lock nuts would be facing outward rather than the button heads, and I don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to take it off of this side and switch it, because that will drive me nuts. As bad as it sounds, I turned to Amazon for a number of parts. They work. So, and look, yeah, I mean, the knockoff parts are they're knockoffs. They're just a stolen version. It's super disappointing to see, and it's disappointing to see how often that's used. You know, there's a million ways to do things, but sometimes they just choose to make a copy version, and so that they can sell themselves on looking the part, but they're a copy, and it's just working off of somebody else's work, which is super unfortunate, and I hate to see it, and not something I like to promote. But I will not get on to that road tonight because it's not a positive one, right? Driving me nuts like a steering wheel. Dang it, what did I do with that set screw? Did I drop it? That's a difficult one because it's very long. Where in the world did it go? Okay, this is somewhat of a problem because there, found it, got it. There we go. Josh, I finally ran my copy of your Ultimate Bomber build with a 3500 kV Polar Pro. The difference between stock and that was night and day. Thanks for sharing the incredible build. Hey, thank you for watching. Is Trial RC considered a knockoff company? They have some things that are, some things that aren't, but I mean, they definitely aren't above copying some people. But again, way of the world. It's what happens. What do you think about 6-pole motors? I don't. Not something I haven't seen a 6-pole motor from anybody that I've been wanting to try. So the only ones that I've seen are just OEM'd motors, not like newly designed or anything like that. So I don't know. If I see one from someone that I trust and all that, it's, then maybe I'd try it, but I'd love my 4-poles. So come on, there we go. So replacing both trailing arms, obviously, even though only one was the issue. Let's get that off. Drop that in. And hey, Sess RC Garage, appreciate the donation. Just joining, you got the Ryft right down to the bones. I ordered an orange one. Yes, we did. We took apart everything. We did a full bearing swap. Again, I don't think that it was necessarily necessary, but it was just something to gave us an excuse to tear every part of the car apart so you could see inside. Holmes is coming out with a 6-pole along with the new ESC. I did see the new SC. I haven't seen any details on the 6-pole. I know he had talked about it. And once he's got it, I'm sure I'll have a long phone conversation with him to list, hear the reasoning and why he will like it in some situations and, for whatever. So I always trust Holmes' opinion on things like that. It's always based in a lot of actual engineering knowledge of the subjects, and I've learned a lot from Holmes in that way. I've taken several very long road trips with John Holmes. We drove from Missouri to Moab together. What is that, like 20 hours or something like that? We've driven to Colorado together a number of times. So I've been friends with John for a long time and trust him for those reasons. All right. And there we go. Oh, thank God I didn't miss the string. There you go. Torque is usually improved with more poles. So I know, there's going to be upsides and downsides to everything. So. All right. I'm really bad at keeping up with everyone on YouTube. Yeah, me too. And I don't watch a ton of RC content on YouTube. Most of what I watch is either full-size cars or, video production, things like that. But it's sad that a business owner is willing to push customers away. Excuse me if I talk down to my fiance. I do, or yeah, that's the thing. Like, one business owner to another can be so different, and it is hard to make a rule of thumb for all business owners, because you can't necessarily assume that any of them are going to do one thing or another. Pop quiz: what is the guest name on Wednesday? Randall, not Rodney. Randall. Have you seen how RC Sparks upgraded the suspension on his Ryft, where he used Integy shocks with internal springs and both upside down as well as dual I think what RC Sparks usually goes for is not necessarily performance. I think he goes for what he thinks I don't think that he's it's not like it wouldn't be my go-to spot for high performance, tips. But dude puts out a lot of content and good content for his crowd, right? He has a type of crowd that he is after and does really well with. What editing software do you use for your videos? I use Adobe Premiere Pro. So we dropped it actually performed well. I don't know if it performed well with Integy shocks. That's a That's going to be a tough one. RC Sparks goes for what he gets for free. Yeah, I mean, I think that he probably pays for quite a bit of things as well, being the size of the channel that he has and how much easier it would be. You know, but he does. I mean, honestly, it's RC Sparks' channel is nuts. Is that dude has hustled harder than any YouTuber, I think. Any RC YouTuber. Not any YouTuber, but let's see. There we go. All the wiring. I get that put zip tied in because we cut those. Let's see. Can I get a? We can get one through here. There's some little zip tie spaces on the ESC tray, so we're going to go right through those. What is your crowd? My crowd is, what is it? 35 to 44 males is my highest demographic. And then 25 to 34, and then 44 to 55. I don't have much of the younger crowd, which seems to be, you know, I do a lot of technical talk that's not necessary for most people who just want to buy an RC car and drive it. So Josh's crowd is nerds. Nerds. There you go. Yes. Who, maybe they want some detail. Maybe they want, things like that. It's just different. It's I'm not saying I see there's some younger people checking in, but that doesn't mean that there isn't any of those. I'm just talking about the highest demographics. And the other thing is like it's a different type, a different crowd. So 44 to 55 for me. 40. There you go. Bill 73 at Reno. I know Bill. I like a good detailed waffle. Bunch of engineers. Traffic light. Yeah, if you want to hear about some traffic, I'm ready. Damn kids, get off my yard. Gonna get this on. Also with the, oftentimes like fabrication and those videos don't do very well in general, like, because you really have to be in that kind of niche crowd of mine to appreciate that. And I will say that not a lot of that falls outside of it. So like if I do a fabrication video, does not get a lot of views. I'm 56. Can I still watch? I will say that the live stream stuff, definitely some of my favorite. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I enjoy the interaction more than anything. And I tell you what, has helped with the, pandemic blues, being locked down, not being able to do anything. The live streams have been greatly helpful. And I can't really tell which slot is which for the ESC wires, so that's going to be difficult. What time is it? It is almost 9 o'clock. Will a Vanquish Curry anti-rock sway bar for a Yeti fit with the Ryft with relative ease? I have an extra kicking around. Can you try it later in the stream if you're unsure? So the mounts on the cage are kind of odd. They've got a large diameter. Let me go to. So this is the mount for the sway bar. That's a big diameter, so it's going to take some sort of specific mount for that. And also the width of that is pretty wide. I don't know that a Yeti sway bar would actually fit between there. I don't think the rod would be long enough. So it's probably going to take something specific. The fab part is great, but way out of my realm or my butt. That's the thing, and that's true for a lot of people, and it's just the reality. Like a lot of people just are like, that's not something I want to invest in. I don't feel like spending hundreds or thousands of dollars in tools to make those things like that. I get it. Like a lot of people don't have the room, or welders are expensive, and you got gas bottles for torches, and your welders and all the tools, and then a fab table. Like it's great. Like I get it. Like that's just not, but that's the side that I enjoy the most. So it's uh you know I don't know. Somebody was asking about a servo tester, so I have two. I have this little guy, and then I just got a new one, which I have already lost somehow. Huh. I don't know. I just bought the Spectrum digital one. But this one's just a cheap Eternigy, and it was like $10. Does the job. So, but I just bought that nice Spectrum one. Yeah. Uh, what was the nuts and what was your nuts and bolts business name? HD Hardware. What was your first RC car? Tamiya TXT1 was my first one. Let's see. If you're not in trade, it's tough. I mean, yeah, it is. You really have to want to invest the money in it. I'm not in the trade of fabrication, so you know, I really enjoy that, and I've slowly purchased all these tools over 15 years, so, and it took a long time. Welding and soldering are fun. I don't love soldering. Like I think Ben just said, I'd rather weld than solder. Same. If I could solder with a TIG torch, I would enjoy it more. Uh, I love my trade and have a garage full. See, yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things like fabrication is so rewarding feeling. Like to start with almost nothing, or just flat metal or round tube, like whatever it is, and then build something. It's like that feels good. Hey Jeremiah, thank you, sir. Next live stream, fit an SCX-103 front axle to a VS410 chassis kit with VFD trans. Hope your day was a good one. Keep it safe. That is a project I would like to do, Jeremiah. Of course, I need to put all of those things in one spot to make that happen, but I should. Don't pull a mat and hook up a 3S to the servo tester. Oh, did Matt do that? Is that not allowed? Because that's a good tip. I probably would have tried that because I don't know if I have a bunch of 2S. Ooh, that's... huh. I'm a hobbyist welder. The Vulcan TIGs from Harbor Freight get the job done for a budget. Mine is also a budget. Mine's a razor weld. It's a nice machine. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of different levels. Mine's a 110 unit. Well, 110 or 220, but I only use 110 because I don't really have a 220 plug that's handy. You're starting the basement. The 95S got me into cage side. Used to print templates too. See, yeah, that was what was that one called? The Thermal Arc 95S. God, it was great. I braze stainless for work. So I want to make a cage. Yeah, exactly. Have you thought about remaking the crispy truck you did many years ago? Kind of, but like if you ever notice the front of the VS410, like that is the front end that I built on the crispy truck. Like that was the whole premise. Super high clearance. It was almost the same shape. That's kind of how some of that came to be. Now I didn't design the VS410 chassis. My coworker did, but it was all the things that I wanted in a chassis. I wanted it to be able to sit low with lots of clearance. And that was exactly what the VS410 is if you compare it to my old crispy. Now granted, that one had a back half, so I cut off the chassis and then tubed it, which would be fun. It's that definitely be an option. I didn't own a crawler or a 3D printer till I subbed. Blame you for my addiction. See though, man, it's such a good hobby to be in. You can be so hands-on. You don't have to spend much if you don't want to. It's you can have fun cheap. You don't have to buy you don't have to buy $500 crawlers. You can have a lot of fun with cheap WPL stuff. Like, have fun with whatever. Now, I talk down on the knockoff stuff. That's not to say you can't buy cheap parts or cheap wheels, things like that. The knockoff stuff is taking and making a direct copy of something like we made, and the design didn't exist before we made it. And they're just trying to piggyback off of that and make, a copy of it to try and sell those. And that sucks because, that was a design that we did and we made, and it's like it takes money away from people like us who try and design things and push the hobby further. So supporting that takes away from the hobby, What do you suggest to get into brazing? Dad's RC Workbench. I've talked about it a little bit before, but I have a specific video that I have planned where I'm going to go buy just the bare basic tools that I think, to build a bumper or inner roll cage, things like that. I'm going to go buy those tools and say, this is what the first tools I would buy. I have a $500 torch. You don't need that. You can buy a $50 torch that comes, with the gas bottle. I'll show the solder, the torch, a freaking hacksaw, some basic bender stuff. And you could build a full roll cage with less than $100 worth of tools. You could probably build a full roll cage for less than $100 worth of tools and material. Probably pretty close. So, I didn't know about Vanquish before I started, and now buy too much from you. There's lots of good companies, and not all. I'm not trying to get onto that whole horse. It is what it is. It's not my. It's kind of my battle, but it's not my battle here. I enjoy these streams to try and not think about things that piss me off on a daily basis. Can you copyright your designs? You can, because we have a patent on the SLW hub, but it has been copied everywhere, and China doesn't care about patents. And Amazon and eBay will not enforce sellers' patents, even when you send it and all that. So it's another thing. It's the way of the world. And it's very hard. The only thing you could do is if a dealer was carrying it, you could say, you can't buy our stuff if you keep selling something that infringes. But, again. Now there has been things like when they've made copies of something like the KMC wheels. KMC, or Wheel Pros, has legal representation overseas, and they have gotten some of that stuff axed, which has been nice, but still not all of it. Earlier you said the Ryft could use beefed up trailing arms out of the box. How is everything else? Servo, tires, and usually the first thing to bin on an RTR. So the servo on this is what I would normally agree with, changing out. However, it does have this great big beefy servo saver, and it's squishy, but it helps keep everything alive. So while that may also lead to kind of a mushy feeling servo, with the throwing this thing up a hill, it's gonna keep this truck alive for most beginners. You're not gonna blow it up like you do on an Axial SMT10 or a Bomber or a Wraith. Blowing up a servo was just instant. You took it out of the box, you hit one rock too hard, and your servo was whining and making noise because the gears were just destroyed. This one did pretty well. Now, a super nice servo, always better. And, then you could get rid of the servo saver maybe and just hope that you don't blow it up. But still, little things like that. So all the stuff still applies, but, for launching it up a hill, it worked okay. The tires aren't bad either. They're maybe a little stiff. What did you guys want to see these compared to? I only have 2.2 Hyraxes here, so I hope that's what you want to see it compared to. Because that's about all we got. I think that I'm going to reassemble most of this truck later off stream, so you guys don't have to watch that because that's probably not going to be very fun for you. You will have got all of the information already, but here is a 2.2 Hyrax, which is a big tire. I think that most of you are probably familiar with that. And here is one of these, considerably bigger in both. Width is almost identical, but height is about a 1/4 inch taller on the new TSL. So, you know, it's hard to see because they're so close, but still. Let's see. That might be easier. This is very hard to do. I should have just taken it off, but I'm not going to. So you can see they are taller, but the width is very similar. The tread height is probably pretty close overall. I can probably take a measurement of that. Sorry, I missed one from Jeremiah. What do you say? I have a project in mind. I have an Xbox 360 and a full tower PC case. I want to mount the guts of the Xbox in the case. I'm getting bored. I've seen people do it the opposite way, where they mount the PC parts in an Xbox, but I haven't seen that direction. What was I just gonna do? Oh, I was gonna measure tread depth. Sorry, I got distracted. So the tires are larger than 5.4. These are like 5.75. These are 6-inch. Yes, that would still be true. Still larger than 5.4. So tread depth about 3.5 millimeters. And tread depth's like 3 to 3.25. So similar, but a little bit taller on the Ryft than a Hyrax. Can you compare axle widths? I did in the review video. They're about, I don't remember now. It's just going to be hard with tires and everything on here, and I don't really want to dismount everything. My drive shaft's flopping, but like it's hard to tell because you've got them tucked inside of the wheels and all that, but it's a wider axle on the Ryft. And I had the exact measurements in the video. I think it was like 20 millimeters wider. So that's just under an inch. So taller than my Proline chip. You still have some Proline chisels, Mike J? Jeez. I haven't seen those in forever. Do you have a 1.9 to see if they fit? I do, and I do remember that question. So I got to put the hex and everything back on here first. Let me do that, and then we can check your 1.9 clearance, because I remember that question now. And while I think a 1.9 is too small for these axles, I do think that it's still worth checking for anybody who wants to see it. I know there's some tall 1.9s and things like that, but these axles are really wide. The wheelbase is really long. I don't think that this is a good choice for 1.9s, but hey. Okay, let me grab some 1.9s. And I have one mounted. Here's one mounted. Are the rotors aluminum or plastic? The rotors are plastic. Plastic rotor, plastic caliper. So, yeah, they clear without any problem. It's going to be hard to give you any sort of look. This is a 1.9 Vanquish wheel with a 350 hub. But you can see that the offset, basically the rotor sits outside of the wheel considerably. Sits out there quite a ways in general. But yeah, so 1.9s. Now, different 1.9s have different clearances on the back side. So not all 1.9s maybe won't work, but these 1.9s seem just fine. Will a 1.55 fit? I don't have any 1.55s, I promise you. Would you consider the Bomber the middle ground between a Capra and the Ryft? Can crawl a little and bounce a little. Yeah. Yes, I would say that's. I would call the Bomber a good trail rig still. I don't think this is going to be much of a trail rig. So, but yeah, I think that you kind of have a good midpoint there. I'm really enjoying this stream. You're very responsive and knowledgeable about RC crawlers. Yeah, thanks. I should be. I've been in this side for quite a while. But yes, Proline chisels were the first tires I ever had when I had my Bomber. Man, I didn't even think they made them when the Bomber was available. I thought they stopped making the chisels forever before that. I bet the first upgrade part for the Ryft will be brass rotors. God. Hi, Nicole and Josh. Well, Nicole, I will tell her hello. Happy New Year to you both. Quick question. In your opinion, would a Axe 3300 kV combo system be too much for a TRX4 Defender or just enough? I think that's a great range for a TRX4. Yes, go for it. Good setup. You know I was kidding about the 155s. Oh, I know. Do you foresee Axial making a monster truck with those axles? No. Since Axial is Horizon, so basically Horizon just made the Losi LMT, I would not expect to see these under a monster truck. I don't think at any point. So I think that I too may have seen damage to my front axle housing. That's just seeing that now, actually. I did. Huh. Well, that is unfortunate. Sorry for going silent. I'm gonna pull shocks off, and I'll show you guys what I've seen. Sorry. Un momento, por favor. Livermore, California. What is going on? Not far from us here in Sacramento. Considering to open a Vanquish hub in Europe. We have a number of shops in Europe, Italy, Spain, the UK, although the UK just had some big changes made to import taxes that's really going to affect us being able to ship there easily, like considerably. So I'm gonna there's a crack across the back side there. It's probably not super clear for you to see, but you see it from here and working its way down. Doesn't go all the way down through the truss, but a pretty good section. I don't see any of it on the front. Looks like it stops. I have a purchase I made. Hold please. I'm going to a view that you can't see me bending over my. Now you still see it. Darn it. Hold on. I'm gonna make it so it's less awkward for me to bend down here. that kind of hurt bending down like that. I had to twist all funky. I have a USB magnifying glass or USB microscope. All you did was zoom in perfect. Damn it. Well, that is unfortunate because it hurt and I tweaked my neck. God. So let's change. We're going to change this one. Add capture device, create new. That is going to be microscope. And okay, so this here, hold please. All right. Well, then it went away. Why did that happen? It's working, it's not working. It's working, it's not working. Hold on. It might not work. We'll see. One last shot at making this function. Deactivate, activate. Okay. No. Oh well. Too much science for today. Good comment. I mean, I kind of want it to work just so I can actually see it. But I don't think that it's not going to be for today. Oh well. I think you can, like I said, you can see it, and it's not all the way. Like I said, it doesn't appear that it's on the front at all. But, and I was hard on it, but it's not what I would have expected. I'm just kind of surprised. I know Greg had that issue. I know it was cold where he was, though. It wasn't cold where I am. It was 60s or whatever. But, oh, did I got a USB extension that could make it work. All right, it's going to get awkward again. I'm going under. Okay. And we're going to see if it works. At least it's late in the stream. No one's probably watching this. Deactivate, activate. Let's see if I can make this thing work. I have a plastic woody. Come up for air? Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Yay. We'll see if it keeps working. Oh, do I have a oh, there's a cover on it. That's why it looked like that. Let's see. Trying to, I know that this thing is like, there's a super close look at the plastic. So that is the end of it. Like right at the front side of the truss right there. It does kind of go over the front. This is the back side though. And that's where it's pretty clear. Even if my camera work is not. Kind of a bummer. I mean, I was damn hard on this car, but no matter what. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to use my microscope, not gonna lie. You know. And I wish that my overhead camera didn't keep freezing. Why? Why does it do that? But Amazon microscope, not Amazon. What is it? It was one of the other sites, the ones that take forever to get there. Anyway, Vanquish House is in the works. You are, I assume you meant you are a geek. And do you mean, yes. Yes, I am. Well, at least you saw this before taking it back out. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised. I just want to try it again. This is on the front side. So it doesn't appear that it's on the front until it does look like this is I guess I'm technically it's upside down. That makes sense. My view is upside down. No wonder when I move things, they go the way that I don't expect. So yeah, I need to like rotate that. Rotate 180 degrees. Haha. I'm surprised it's the short side, Ty says. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Granted, it doesn't have the trussing on the short side. Is that it? Is that a crack? Huh. I don't know. Maybe it is. Might be able. Maybe a microscope can see things better than I can. So either way, I will investigate that later. No matter what, I enjoy this truck. But of course, sometimes you find things that need fixed. We saw Greg found his. I thought I was equally as hard on it, so I can definitely see it move a little bit. You should do non-destructive testing. You should do non-destructive testing. Good God. You know, we are being a little over analytical on RC stuff, but correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that low-C plastic? So this isn't made at the same place as like the Capra and the SCX-10 III, but I do believe it's the same plastic as the low-C laser nut. So, which is because this is made in China, not in Taiwan. So I believe that's the same place that the LMT is being made as well. But yeah, so there's they have multiple factories that they use. Is there anything else we should look at with a microscope while we're at why it's out? That microscope is awesome, right? It was like $15. Josh, how much longer is the stream going on for? Until we all get bored. We got a good crowd in here. I mean, honestly, these streams are as much to hang out as anything. So I appreciate all you guys for hanging out. It's a lot of fun for me as well. While I like working on RC cars a lot, I enjoy the interaction as much as anything. So all of you guys have been fantastic so far. I appreciate all of it. I appreciate all of the support you guys have given as well. For $500, not a couple issues would not exist. I agree, but I mean, the electronics package that's in it is not cheap. It's a nice electronics package. A lot of the parts that are in it are substantial. So yeah, Josh, Ripper 107 was found. Was it missing? I didn't hear that story. If so, I should definitely hear. I'm having a freaking blast. Even better. Hey, Squints Palidorus. Thank you very much. Thanks for the stream. Here's my contribution towards Cheez-Its. Get your own vodka. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, sir. Well, I guess it's not as strong as a Ford fucking Ranger. Oh my God. If anybody else has that song stuck in their head like I do. Oh my God. It's a Ford fucking Ranger. Oh, so many times in repeat in my head. I'm honestly just listening while I work late, so I appreciate the company while I'm here by myself. Not a problem. Glad that you guys have found a use for the stream. Much printer is printing, tinkering, and enjoying the science. I mean, yes, science is from TikTok. Exactly. That is correct. What else will I spend my money on when I'm on YouTube? Were you involved in the design of the VS410 instruction manual? Partially, but not specifically. So, saw that TikTok the other day. Oh, I've seen it a million times. Oh, that song. It's freaking mint. Exactly. Go get the vodka. Cheers. Part of our Whole30 diet that we're on is also, you're 100% clean. No alcohol at all, which is not a big deal for me. The only time I usually drink is on Friday nights on these streams. But yeah. Should we look at anything else on the microscope? Come on. I saw it on the IG Reels. Yes. I think that most of that is a carryover from the from TikTok, it seems. So any update on the OMG 65? That will be, but I'm going to wrap up some projects first before I jump to that. So 15 days to go on the diet. That sounds, I think I'm only, we're getting close. We're almost 2 weeks in. Monday will be 2 weeks. No bubbly. I'm out of bubbly. I have some other one that I would get and I need desperately right now, but damn it. It really tweaked my neck trying to get this stupid microscope. God. Let's look at something else under a microscope. This, you want to see the machining marks on that? Yeah. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. You can see the turning. Those are the threads. Huh. God, I love the stupid purchases I make. Sometimes they're worth it. Ranger owners, the new Jeep owners, but we're slightly more cool. Ooh, Evan, watch yourself. Great show. I really like hearing the chatter as I wrench my rigs. I think that's the bet. Anybody who watches this usually post is usually, working on something else and not fully paying attention, which definitely makes sense to me. I could definitely see that. Do the tire. I could do the tire. Tire. That's a fun one. So let's see. Tire. That's the actual. If I get it right there. That's like the actual surface tread of it. It's so hard for me to try and orient this because it's still, I rotated it, but I still need to like mirror it. Huh. It's hard to see. You don't really see much of that. Josh, any reason you locked out the lockers on the OMG 65 instead of removing the entire locking ring from the diff? Save some rotating away. Partially, it was because there was just like not enough time. So the truck that they're talking about, it was the trying to make the Traxxas TRX6. I think it was, isn't it OMG 63? Yeah, 63, not 65. Trying to make it go fast. And it was like, there just wasn't enough time. Like, I was thrashing on that truck with like every moment that I had to try and get like the aero and everything else done. To pull all that stuff out, I would have had to drop the belly pan, remove the axles again, remove everything. And I know I went in there once to swap the gearing out to the machined gears, but it was still just like, I could have done it then, but I didn't necessarily know how everything was going to go. Like, I didn't know if I was going to want locked in the rear or not at all. So I didn't know. And then there was no way I had time. So I wanted to remove as much stuff as I could, but to do that, the only way I could do it quickly was to just lock out the cables. I was wrenching and I heard there's a crack, so my full attention and then a freaking microscope. Is there another axle that will fit the Ryft? I don't think so. It's a pretty specific axle. The link mounts, the servo position for clearance on up travel, everything. Like, you know, it might be something that a tube option is going to work in. I just watched your running video, didn't see any conclusive moment. It slammed. Now, that running video, that video when I dropped all of the content in there was like an hour and 45 minutes, and I cut it down to like 5 minutes. So there is a lot of running footage that wasn't in there. I just tried to pick the stuff that had a good camera angle and looked somewhat impressive. You know, so like and since I was filming by myself with stationary cameras only, that's how it was super hard. I wasn't able to, you know, like follow the truck to get cool angles or anything like that. It was just super difficult to film this. So that's why I was just launching it up a hill as hard and fast as I could. Where was I running? I was driving it at God, it's called Mammoth Bar. It's a OHV park that's mainly for dirt bikes and trials bikes. Hey, Jeremiah, thank you, sir. Resending a super chat. You need to full send till that axle breaks. How you like the A6000? So the A6000 is the one that I bought a new camera yesterday, Sony A6000, and that's what I put overhead. And I like it other than it freaking freezes up on me. And I think that's my capture card. So I'll figure out that. I'll make sure that it's in a high-speed port and that I don't have that, because I've had that issue before. But I like this view, and I'm excited to have that. And I think that'll be better. Shot in the dark, but what's your favorite 1.9 tire in the snow? Ooh, snow. Proline Masher 2K, old school. Oh, but those might have been. Oh, those were 2.2 only, not 1.9. Man, I don't know. See, and yeah, and now it's frozen. So that's the issue. I don't know. Josh mentioned a teleprompter might be coming soon. Mike J, you left that comment on my Instagram, and I was just like, I wonder if I can buy one that I can mirror the screen, so I could have the chat right over that, so I could just maintain eye contact with you guys at all times while reading what you're saying to me, because that would be super creepy. He lives in the sun. Yes. Yeah, that's yeah. So let's see about one of those teleprompters, because I know they have like the reflection style, and I think that could be fun. Teleprompter app. Yeah, I'm gonna see what I can find. Is the truss molded to the axle, or can be aluminum expected in the future? It's molded. It's all one piece. This whole axle housing is one piece. you know, I think that the long side is so overly truss, like it's got this big long truss on the bottom, and then the servo, it's all truss here. And then the short side, it doesn't extend, like it doesn't extend out far enough, but I mean it's cracking through a significant trussed area. Like it's not through the part where there's no truss. You know, it's not through these link mounts or anything like that. Like that's what's surprising to me. I'm surprised. Should I say surprised one more time? I'm a guy who still shoots film photography. I've been looking at the A6000. Dang, film photography. Isn't that expensive to do film photography? Man. Um, Josh, out of curiosity, will Vanquish ever do a Ripper 2? No. Absolutely not. Definitely no. Hard no. So many times no. Um, let's see. Since we're here just talking, I am going to keep wrenching a little bit. Do you think four-wheel steer would be fun on the Ryft? I do not. I do not think that four-wheel steer is good at high speeds like this. I think four-wheel steer is fun at low speeds. Once you start being higher speed, the rear is just so much. Oof. Film is expensive as balls nowadays, but it's fun. Man, I'm a terrible photographer, like absolute dog water. So I'm waiting for a I'm waiting for a Carmageddon video? Total destruction. What? I will say that bought a I bought a Tamiya kit. It is a grasshopper, which is like one of the cheapest ones. But there is a Instagram video or a TikTok video, anyway, where these guys are trying to drink beer, but with a tens machine on their arms. And they're trying to drink, and they're just so. Nicole has a tens machine. I'm gonna see if I could put a grasshopper together with a tens machine on. Did he say RC driver had the same issue? Yeah, I knew that. So, I don't even know how I saw that. I just like glanced and noticed it. The grasshopper is still one of my all-time favorite looking art. I thought it looked like a fun buggy. I've definitely never done it. Tens units are cheap nowadays, and we actually have them already, so I don't even have to buy it. Depends on the tens unit. Some cause muscle spasms, some don't. Yeah, so I can, since we have it, I can try it. Otherwise, I'll just Google like what's the most expensive tens machine I can buy, or not most expensive, most powerful one I can buy for like less than $100. Significantly less would be great. If I could get it for like $50, that'd be fine. So, crawled Deer Creek lately. I don't crawl at Deer Creek much. I've done it once, but no, twice maybe. But the thing is like there is like like I saw needles there, and I was just like super weirded out by that and just didn't like it at all. The rock was fine and all, but I was just like I didn't like anywhere I see that I'm just like I'm kind of out. So I've got like an aversion to Deer Creek just personally. But can you show off the Vanquish tools, please? I'm wanting to get a full set soon. Sure. So we'll go to where is it? So the tool, this end of the tools is a bearing or bearing supported, so it spins super easy. So like if you're doing repetitive work like we often do, it spins quickly. So it's super comfortable to use over long periods of time. I obviously wrench a lot, and especially if you're like assembling beadlock wheels, it is really nice to have the bearing set. So that is my my preference. They work great for me. Obviously, I have a bias, but it's a bias because they're the tools that I wanted to build. Is it a fast eddy bearing? It is a fast eddy bearing. Nicole delivers them, and then we press them in. You should go crawling at Mount Diablo. I've crawled at Mount Diablo. That's fun as well. But yes, it is a fast eddy bearing. It is a 6 by 15 by 5 bearing, in case you were wondering. Pivot! Would have loved that driver on those bead locks I did today. Exactly. It is. That's so nice to do that. I need to get the re-release of the Honda City Turbo. I saw that. That was super. I was actually considering that as well. The other one that I'm going to pick up is the MST. They just came out with a new option for the Miata kit with their front wheel drive chassis, and I can't remember what that's called. Someone will have to remind me. But I'm going to pick that up because the Miata, I mean, I don't think Miatas are cool, but Miatas are kind of cool. So, and a front wheel drive car, I like MST stuff, so I'm going to pick that up. What did Jeremiah think? Did you ever try RC Demolition Derby? Also be cool to see you build a demo car. I've always thought that was cool. Those guys who but that's just never been a thing here that I've seen at least. Otherwise I would do it. I would totally be in for it, but never been something I've found to be around me to do. What were those really old Proline tires someone mentioned above? I don't know. I didn't see that. Yeah, Miatas are cool. Miata is not from, oh my God, you're totally right. Dad's RC workbench. A Miata is not front wheel drive. They're rear wheel drive. Duh. Now that new kit from MST is you can choose front wheel drive or rear wheel drive, and you can make it mid motor or rear motor. So that, my bad. That same chassis you can get front wheel drive. You can build front wheel drive because they sell a Honda Civic hatchback. TCR-M, but Miatas are terrible, barely above Prius. So, yeah, Proline Chisel. The chisels are super old, but I think the chisels came out in 2010, if I remember correctly. So, I ran them at the time. I liked them. So, but I think it was 2010. Could have been 2009. Maybe somewhere in that time frame. So let's see, rear wheel drive and rear motor for a drift build. Yeah, that's and you know what? Like honestly, I was thinking about that MST because I was like, a front wheel drive car would be kind of fun, and I was like, oh Miata, there you go, that's something new. But yeah, it's rear wheel drive like everything else. Like maybe I pick up the Civic version because I kind of want a front wheel drive. I've never had a front wheel drive RC. I've never owned one of the M chassis Tamayas that are front wheel drive. So, chisels were out when the XR10 came out. That is true. I do have my nerd document of my timeline for RC crawling things. And I can tell you dates of some of these worthless. What happened to last STL Sunday? Nicole and I were out with for a friend's birthday at his place, and we didn't make it back. She was not ready to leave, so I said I will cancel this week, but it will be back this weekend. So I don't think I have when the Proline Chisel was released. At least I doubt that I do. 2009 Venom Creeper was released. Omaha Midwest Challenge. Losi Nightcrawler or Losi Comp Crawler. Was released 2009 around June. 2010. Axial XR10 came out 8/31, 2010. So, Josh, I tagged you on IG for that mini. I will try and check it, but the tags sometimes I don't because they go away too quickly. So like, because you can only get so many notifications at a time on Instagram. So I'll try and see it, but sometimes either like sending it to me in a message is the best way. There's a there is a British band called Camtech that makes bare bones basic kits for banger racing. Jeez, that's hard to say. Which could also be used for Demolition Derby. actually Camtech. Maybe I saw them because I wonder if were they the company that made the Reliant Royale body? I've been looking for a Reliant Robin body, and the only ones I've ever seen is there's some 3D printed options, but yeah. So 5-liter V8 and a Monster Man. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the V8 swap Miata builds. Some are kind of fun. MSTJ4, love it. That's, yeah, not bad. 3-rotor Miata. Or was that, I don't know if I've seen that. Camtech, they make styrene bodies. I wonder if they're the ones who made the Reliant Royale. I bet they are. So chisel was 2009 according to this. That sounds about right. Remembering in my head kind of time frame. Yeah. The Reliant would be an awesome build to run the Dancing Rider. The only problem is the Dancing Rider leans so far, and I think the Reliant would look off leaning that much. Joe, I swear that you're married to us and Nicole as your piece. Yeah. More than anything, I might have to call this because I'm losing my voice. So, yeah. So yeah, let's wrap this deal because I mean I pulled my microscope out. We've replaced all the bearings. Everything else has been fantastic. Don't do crack. You saw a raccoon take a dump in my yard. A guy local to me builds some badass RC drift cars. Afro RC. I feel like I've heard that. Voice like that ought to leave. Oh, Screaming goat, just for you. Moon does several times. Oh, Tuk Tuk would be better for sure. Yes, Bucks, you are correct. The Tuk Tuk with the Tuk Tuk that's right there. That would be perfect. It's a hell of a day. What did you say? At sea, sir. Man, I missed a lot. You can rewind. The good thing is that it's all available. This was an epic stream. Yes, lots and lots. So, Prusa Mini or Ender 3? Ooh, are they near the same price? I don't know that. I want the full Prusa, not the Mini. So, although just about anything from Prusa seems like a good buy. So, Infraction Felony are Road Bashers. Yokomo is a legit drift-based chassis. I have the Yokomo Gyro. That's about it. So, anyway, let's knock this thing out. You guys were awesome. Appreciate all of it. Appreciate all of the support. Let me give a thank you to everybody who was supporting. I've got it zoomed into Nicole-sized text so I could see this. So let me zoom out. Thank you again, Torre, Dave Bowes, Quack RC, Stabby Josh, Emons Racing, Galen Garrett, BT, Chris Goins, RC Patina Guy, Paul Matlock, Gene Masters, Dave Trivet, Craig Thomas, Brian Sherwood, F Charger TV, Lone Star RC Guy, Jeffrey Hessel, Tim B, Seth RC Garage, Squints Palladorus. All of you guys, appreciate it a bunch. It was a great night. We got a lot done. We saw a lot, and I still have a lot of work left to do because I actually have to reassemble the car. Till next time, see some of you guys on Sunday for STL Sunday. Come join in if you're interested in 3D modeling or 3D printing. This week should be a fun one. I'm going to do a motorized style pallet jack because everybody needs one of those for their scale garage. So anyway, appreciate it as always. We'll see you guys next time.